Okay. I hope everybody is doing well today. Shout out to Sword of Truth family, Cabo Cobb, his congregation that's in California, Georgia, and different cities in between. Hope everybody's doing well. Yataza, Shalom. Shalom. Shout out Stream of Wisdom, Virginia, Houston, Rochester. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hope everybody's fighting a good fight, staying strong, doing their best to please the Heavenly Father on a daily basis. I was going to go into a certain class that I already had prepared from last week that I want to finish about the longevity theme, but we're going to kind of switch directions because there's been a
come on, black man.
There's been a we're waiting for the phone to get fixed. Okay. So what we're going to do is kind of go veer a different direction because I've been getting questions about, or at least in our camp, and I remember certain conversations I've had with brothers at the Passover too. It was kind of a frequent thing about how do I maintain my zeal? How do I maintain my consistency in the work? How am I able to sit back and what does it take to stay strong and to keep growing and to keep pushing in the work? That was the question I know I was presented with a lot of times a few weeks ago when we had our gathering. And had that question kind of presented to me a few times even after in our camp. So I think it's a good opportunity to explain what are some concepts we need to hold on to maintain spiritual consistency in our walk towards serving the Heavenly Father. So before we teach about what it takes to be consistent, I think it's important that we go into the history of what great men have talked about, what it takes to be consistent in the dynamic that all of our nation faces as we're deciding to push forward to please the Heavenly Father. So let's go to Josephus, book 8, chapter 4, and paragraph 4.
We're starting off
We're starting off in Josephus. The title of the class is How Do I Stay Zealous and Consistent?
Which is an important question. They asked a key question. They asked a key question. That's a key question to have.
What it takes to be consistent, what it takes to be the same person every day. How do you fight for so many years? Right?
Yeah.
Is that a question that's a question that everybody has had?
If you don't ask that question, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Well, that cycle comes around. If you're a new person, that's your first thought. Can I maintain this fire? I see a lot of people here been here for a while. How do they keep it going? And if you've been here for a while, the next question is, well, how do I keep this going?
And then how about this one? How do you keep from just treading water?
Yeah, I'm going through the motions.
There's a lot of people that are so fixated on the fact that I haven't left. But had you grown?
Yeah.
Listen, stagnant water ends up becoming what? Dead water. Dead water, putrefied, and sick.
I haven't left this house. I haven't left this marriage. That's cool. You haven't left.
But how sick are you? For us, I haven't left. I haven't quit. Okay. Well, have you been productive? Because that's what the Most High wants from us, right? So let's go here. Josephus, book 8, chapter 4, paragraph 4. This is dealing with Solomon. And it's dealing with Solomon at the end of the construction of the temple. Now, for those of us who've read about this construction of the temple, it took the dedication and sacrifice and commitment of not just Solomon, but David. David went to many wars, many battles, and all of his top generals and many people shed blood for the opportunity to create a temple, to gain the resources for the temple. And then listen, what people don't really study enough about is David sat back here and prepared the majority of the copper and the gold and the silver and the building tools in order to even, and their relationship with Hiram, to even be in a position to get a good deal on the wood to establish the temple. And all the time and the resources and the bank account and the finance to even get the temple ready to go, men had to hazard their lives for the next generation to be in position to even do it the right way. Then you had Solomon with his methodical tactician approach to structuring everything. He came in and took it to the next level, and now we're here at the end of what it took to build the glorious temple. That was the symbol of our relationship with the Heavenly Father. And what we're going to read about is Solomon's speech that he had to the people before they started the initiating of the sacrificing on the altar. So let's read that. Paragraph 4, top part.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 4, Paragraph 4. When Solomon had said this and had cast himself upon the ground and worshipped a long time, he rose up and brought sacrifices to the altar, and we had filled it with unblemished victims. He most evidently discovered that the Most High had with pleasure accepted of all that he had sacrificed to him. For there came a fire running out of the air and rushed with violence upon the altar.
That fire that came out of the air came from the sky and just went down and consumed the sacrifice immediately. The same thing happened when Moses and Aaron initiated the tabernacle many years before that. The same thing happened. The fire came out of heaven, consumed it, and that was the proof and the confirmation that the Most High was pleased with the entire process. Continue.
In the sight of all, and caught hold of, and consumed the sacrifices. Now, when this divine appearance was seen, the people supposed it to be a demonstration of the Most High's abode in the temple, and were pleased with it.
And this is the thing. The people were implied with the idea that the Most High was going to always dwell in the temple. Now, was that the case? No, the Most High wasn't going to dwell in the temple made with hands, but we looked at the temple as our connection, and specifically the ark, as our connection with the Heavenly Father. As long as we had the ark in the temple and the temple was present, the Most High always had our back.
Well, we look at that like now, we're trying to get spiritual again. For those that might not have been going to class consistently, if I hit that low point, that spiritual low point, if I go back to class, I get spiritual charged up again. Yep. That's the same concept that we had back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the spiritual recharge that we needed to keep going.
God. So let's continue.
And fell down upon the ground and worshipped, upon which the king began to bless the Most High, and exhorted the multitude to do the same. And now, having sufficient indications of the Most High's favorable disposition to them, and to pray that they might always have the like indications from him, and that he would preserve in them a mind pure from all wickedness.
So, when everybody's nostalgic and happy and spiritual, and we're talking spiritual and everybody's happy, the conversation is, how do we keep the Most High with us forever? After a moment like them seeing fire come down from heaven, and you're going to sit back later on and read about how they saw a cloud go into the temple. After seeing this, they're like, man, the Most High going to be with us forever. Let's be rejoiced over the fact that the Most High is here. We're the predominant nation in the region. We're on top as a nation. We're operating holy. We love the Most High. Look at where we're at. We're at the pinnacle of where we are as a nation, because that's really where we're at here in paragraph 4. Israel was at the pinnacle of their empire. It wasn't going to get any better than this. Now, we thought it was. We thought we was going to stay potent in perpetuity forever. Well, let's continue.
And that he would preserve in them a mind pure from all wickedness in righteousness and religious worship.
Now listen, isn't that how we operate? When you're in the school, you're in class, you feel good. We have this religious mindset that the Most High is going to take away all the sin from us, take away all the wickedness from us. All I got to do is come to school, come to class, and all the negative is going to leave me.
Yeah.
Don't we think that?
Yeah.
Don't we think that now? If I come to class, all the negative sinful thoughts will leave.
Yeah.
If all I do, I just got to make it to class, and the sin will leave.
If I make it to temple, I'll be okay.
There you go.
If I make it to Shabbat, I'll be okay. And for me in the Corps, if I pass my soldier's test, I'll be in the spirit.
Okay. This is how we operate. If I do a righteous work or a spiritual work, that will sustain me for long stretches of time.
Or if I get a rib, I'll stop tripping.
I didn't want to talk about ribs. We're going to talk about the spiritual high that we bounce from.
Yeah.
We'll bounce from gathering to gathering.
That's true.
And then we're fading out until we get to the next gathering.
Yeah.
We get
6
to the
months.
next scenario where I can blow horns and get anointed.
Yeah.
This is the thinking that we have. Let's continue.
God, and that they might continue in the observation of those precepts which the Most High had given them by Moses.
And once again, after there's a great class or great councils or great gatherings, a lot of times those gatherings give us the strength and that high to go for a longer stretch than normal. Right or wrong?
God.
Have you had interactions with brothers and sisters and talks and connections, and those connections give you the strength to push longer than you normally have?
Being inspired, externally seeing other men get past the hill or the threshold.
Yes.
We're all fighting uphill battle. That's the honest truth. We're doing uphill scenarios. When you see other men and other women conquer or get through the uphill scenario, people are, I'm on fire for that.
We're on fire in scenarios like that. You're on fire when you see great physical achievements get accomplished.
The trucks come.
Trust come, certain blessings come, and you realize, I can do this. I can do this for longer than I thought.
Yeah.
There's this notion that you can keep going when you see success.
Yeah.
But let's continue.
Because by that means the Hebrew nation would be happy, and indeed the most blessed of all nations among all mankind.
At the time, we were the most blessed of all nations of mankind because we were on top. We had a marvel of a construction that was put together. We were with the Most High was with us. Yep. All the nations were subservient to us. So everything was good.
Beautiful.
So the notion is that we're going to stay good. Read on.
Line 121. He exhorted them also to be mindful.
Now this is Solomon now speaking to the people. Solomon sent his prayers up. He offered the sacrifice, the first sacrifice to christen in the temple. Now he's communicating with the people. Okay, let's go.
He exhorted them also to be mindful that by what methods they had attained their present good things.
So he says, you guys can't forget, instead of being caught up in the temple, the accomplishment, the feeling, whether it was the feeling of accomplishment that the sisters came together and made beautiful garments, the feeling of accomplishment that it took for us to sit back here and get our businesses established and running and sustain, the feeling of sitting back here and getting on a podium and teaching and bringing out a good class, or the feeling that comes from like counseling brothers and you know your counsel stuck and penetrated and helped somebody, or the feeling of helping a sister out or brother in counsel. He said, be mindful of what?
Be mindful that by what methods that they had attained the present good things.
Figure out, meditate on the level of work it took to get the good things.
And we've always said this.
We've always said it.
We've always said, you know what, it's cool to have this major achievement, but can it last? Can we sustain it? What did it take step by step to get where we're at now?
Whether it's work ethic and actually your in the work of the camp,
yeah.
Whether it's the level of counseling it takes to keep your house in order and intact, whether it's the amount of study preparation it takes to keep your spirit strong. Listen, we used to teach it at the mall. How hard did you have to work to get your blessing? And can you duplicate that? Can you sit back here and figure out how much effort it took to get the consistency needed to get your blessing?
You said in particular to get the Most High's attention, because we can say get the blessing, right? But if we're spiritual, the blessing is a product of getting the Most High's attention.
God. And that's it. Because if I can sit back and learn that there's a level of effort necessary to get the Most High's attention in this arena, then I can take that same template to get the Most High's attention at home as a wife, with men in my study in the scriptures, with how much studying does it take to clear your mind every day? Do men know that? How much studying does it take for you to have a clear mind about your battle the next day? How much studying does sisters have to put into to look at their husbands in a pure light? and how many hours and minutes you put in every day to have the right outlook with the Heavenly Father. Now there's crickets. And I'm not knocking y'all in general, but I can feel the crickets coming in, because the truth is, this is what Solomon is saying about all of us. How much work do you put into having a good outlook? Seeing the good things in life. And then once you learn how much time it takes to study to maintain your spirit, then for men, how many hours does it take to prepare a good class? To prepare a class that actually helps and penetrates somebody. This is what Solomon is trying to get the people in Israel to be conscious of. How hard did you have to work to get the temple built? He's like, don't stop how hard you had to work. Don't lose that work ethic that it took to get the temple built. If you think about Solomon, right after Solomon died, what did the people say? We worked too hard. Mm-hmm. They didn't listen to a damn thing Solomon said. Solomon said, listen, you got to maintain the work ethic that got us the temple to continue to build us as a great nation.
Which is the correct.
This is the mindset that you have to have in life. But reading this story in our history, the scripture says as soon as we accomplish something, what do we want to do? We want to relax. We want to take it slow, and we want to sit back here and embellish and focus and glorify the victories.
I would say over glorify the victories, because the issue is, we've had this conversation. I'm not going to keep going there, but is the first question one was, what does it take to maintain what you have? Mm-hmm. That was the conversation. What level of effort do I have to give myself to maintain this? Then the second question is, what do I have to take? What kind of effort is necessary to excel? Yeah. Because in the old camp, the camp was only its ascension until we got to school. Mm-hmm. School got purchased, brother's house got purchased, and then from there.
And what was the next goal?
That was always the conversation, and we could never get to that point.
Well, the goal was to get to school. Then the goal was to pay for the school.
Yeah.
And once the school was paid for, then it was a challenge to figure out what was the next direction to take.
The next play.
And how we were going to sit back and inspire people to give the best effort they could give. And that became a challenge. Because once you fight to attain something and you get it, it's hard for people to sustain what they have. Because this is what Solomon is saying. And not just in that frame of mind, in your house. Once the sister has her husband, does she still work as hard to please him in year 5 and year 10 as it was to get him? Do you still work as hard as you did to stay in order with your husband when you first read the scriptures and you first read about what it takes to serve a husband and be in order with a husband? Is that same zeal in you maintained to this present day? Let's not get into being better than that. Have you even maintained your zeal?
That's the real question. Yeah.
Most of us haven't. Most of us, you get what you want and you coast. And you wonder why the Most High isn't pleased with your service. And you wonder why you lose things around you, because you coast. And it's inclined in our nature to coast. Let's continue. Let's read, he exhorted them also.
Line 121. He exhorted them also to be mindful that by what methods they had attained their present good things.
Learn what it took to grow. Learn what it took to get blessed. Learn what it took for a wife to see your husband happy with a smile on his face. What did it take to make your husband happy? How hard did you have to work to do that? And can we get back to that? And then work on what's next?
It's not even excelling right now.
Can we just sit back and tread water? Israel hasn't even learned to tread water good. But let's continue.
By the same, they must preserve them sure to themselves and make them greater.
So he says, not only after you learn how to master what it took to get what you got, now we can start discussing how to be greater at what we do. But that mindset
doesn't make sense.
Aggravates people. It aggravates women. It aggravates men. when the message is very consistent? Can you learn and never forget what it took to please your husband? For brothers, have we learned to never forget what it took to get the Most High's attention and get blessed?
And to achieve.
Well, that's what I mean by getting blessed. And let me be specific about the blessing, not carnal blessings.
Of course not.
Well, I hope not. But have you remembered how much studying it took for you to gain clarity in the scriptures? Did you remember how hard you have to work to eventually learn to be at peace with your work? How much studying you had to commit yourself to be at peace with your decision to live the life you chose to live? I don't think brothers understand how much studying and how much reading and how much meditation and how much counsel it takes to learn to accept the path that we all say we've chosen. People think they can just go into something, wing it, live, and think everything's going to be right. You got to sit back and make a decision to commit to the Most High, and every day study, read, meditate, counsel, to confirm and to justify the decisions you continue to make going the path you've chosen to go. Same thing with wives. Every day do you sit back here and appreciate what the Most High did for you and who the Most High connected you with? And can you dedicate yourself to appreciation and then study and consider why you have to continue to build on what the Lord gave you? We don't operate in that space because what we want, after we get what we want it breaks. We want to take it slow. We want it easy now. This is the nature of man. But Solomon is trying to teach us. He's trying to teach us how important it is to remember how hard the level of work it took to achieve blessings in this realm. Never forget that and increase that. But most people just can't get past how uncomfortable I am in my life and what I'm going through in my life. It shows you the difference between spiritually minded people and carnally minded people. This isn't just a war, Dawiyat, Shamshawan, Elishai, just being overbearing individuals wanting more. When you sit back and read the Bible, you have to learn how hard it takes to achieve something, lock that in, and then learn how to improve from that. Life is all about improving and growing if you want to finish strong.
And we're dealing with the demon of mediocrity. It's a word we don't say often. We said it back in the day all the time.
We still say it. It's off camera.
But the truth is, we deal with the demon of mediocrity because we're easily pleased. We have caviar desires. We have platinum desires. We have low-level desire to reciprocate to the Father. Low-level to recommit and give the Father the same. So really, I think it's a little button.
Little button?
A little in and out.
Talk about the cord.
Yeah.
It's not it, bro.
It's got to come back. This happened before.
Just y'all, just be patient.
But
You see a black screen? No. There it
yeah, it's
goes.
gonna come back.
What the hell is that? That's not right.
That's
Okay.
And this is Shaitan.
the moment
in
we
the
say
house.
that word.
Shaitan in the house. Just be patient, y'all. Okay, there we go.
Amen. Amen.
Okay.
But what we deal with, we have this unjust relationship with the Father.
Let's go into this.
Go ahead.
Mediocrity.
Yeah.
That's something we deal with. Believe me, there's going to be plenty of angles to explain this out of line. But Israel wants to operate in a bare minimum mindset.
Come on.
How most of us think is, what is the least I got to do to serve God so I can get home and watch about this Kendrick and and his Drake and his J. Cole debate?
What happened?
This argument. I want to know what's happening next.
Why aren't they friends?
Now Rick Ross made a song? Tell me more.
Why is everybody angry?
I want to hear more about these retaliations.
What did he do?
Listen, we want to go home and tap into that. What's the least I can do in this realm so I can go home and live the life I want to live? That's what we want to do. We want to play our music, jam out, drink our wine, our vines, smile, relax, relax our mind on social media to get ready for the grueling work that's waiting for us the next day.
It's coming.
That's what we tell ourselves, right? So, let's continue.
By the same, they must preserve them sure to themselves and make them greater and more than they were at present.
What Solomon is saying, wasn't Solomon the wisest individual on earth?
Done.
Everybody wants to talk about the wisdom of Solomon. Well, Solomon's so wise. He had lions all up on his throne, and he had marble ivory thrones. He was so cold. Israel always talks about how cold. Everybody talks about he sprinkled it like this, like the Ishmael guy did. He sprinkled his head. He's going through on horses. All his servants had purple on. It was majestic. You know how many times I've heard that before? The majesty of Solomon, and that's cool. But how come nobody talks about? Solomon said, "Dedicate yourself to work, and then figure out how hard you got to commit yourself to get blessed. Learn that, and then be greater than that." How come nobody talks about that? That ain't the spirit. But we can talk about how cold he is and how much money he had, and how royal he was, and how silver wasn't accounted for at that time.
Yeah.
These are all facts. But how hard did he have to work? So, listen, I think the question is this. For all that gold and all that money, was he really into that?
Not really.
He was into pushing and progressing further. Because that's the only way you can maintain all that majestic stuff.
So you have to achieve it.
You got to be into the achievement, the dedication, the next project. This is how you continue to grow in the spirit. But Israel wants, in our mind, when you get the shiny stuff, now you can take a break. When you get to a certain rank, now you can take a break. You get a certain color patch, you can just chill now. You get that gold, or you get purple,
I'm good now.
Everything's gonna be okay at that point. That's the thinking that a lot of people have when they enter serving the Heavenly Father. Let's continue.
For that it was not sufficient for them to suppose that they had received them on account of their piety and righteousness.
They don't realize, and they weren't thinking about, they got their blessings because of how righteous they were, how in order they were, and how much they were committed to their task. Read on.
But that they had no other way of preserving them for the time to come.
Mm-hmm.
For that it is not so great a thing for men to acquire.
Stop. He said it's not so great for men to acquire something. We are so much about the acquiring something that we're not conscious of the maintenance of the acquisition.
Yeah.
We're focused on, I just got to bust my tail to get this. We don't understand that once you get it, it's harder to keep it than to get it.
It's a double battle to keep.
Well, but because the double battle is predicated on what Solomon said. You have to be able to maintain your work ethic and then add to the work ethic to maintain, to keep it, and for it to continue to go forward. Most of our people, mentally, psychologically, and spiritually, is barely hanging on to the level of commitment and dedication they have to give to get to this part.
If we're gonna be honest, we really do the level of effort, just not lose it all. Let me give you enough.
So I don't fall apart. So I don't get cursed. That's how we operate. We don't say it out in real life. Well, really, it's like, how hard do I have to work to not go to hell?
That's the real answer. That's the real answer.
How hard do I have to work not to burn?
I just don't want to die.
Does anybody know that answer? Who knows that answer? Let me know this answer.
And I'll give you that much effort.
And this is why the Most High said, I'm not giving you that. This is why the Most High said, the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Aha! Now I got you. Because if the righteous are going to barely make it, oh damn, what am I going to do then? Then he's dangling the carrot. You better be righteous. Because the righteous guy, the all-in guy, is going to barely make it. So you better learn how to be the all-in person. The all-in guy, the all-in gal. What is the all-in guy? All-in gal entail? Learning how to operate and dedicate at a certain level and not stop that. Stop looking to quit. Stop looking for the break. Our minds are conditioned for the break. The time out. We don't teach ourselves, we don't tell ourselves, once we get to where we want to go, now I have to sit back and keep pushing and recalibrate for more. We don't think like that. And because we don't think like that, the Most High calls us what? Sheep. Sheep just want to graze out. What's this green over there? What's going on over there? Let me try it out.
Delicious over there.
It looks delicious. And then there's a little, something's moving over there. I don't care what that green's over there at. We're just going to roam for what's comfortable. There's no purpose, continued purpose to our efforts. Let's continue. Read that part again. For it is not a great thing.
For that it is not so great a thing for men to acquire somewhat which they want, as to preserve what they have acquired, and to be guilty of no sin.
Crazy, bro.
Solomon is like, it's easy to get something, but can you keep it? How long can you sustain the blessing that you have? That's how the Most High is looking at the work we commit ourselves to every single day. So it goes into the question that brothers were asking me at the Passover, and brothers and sisters asking me in the camp when we got back. What does it take for me to stay strong? Because what's being implied is that I'm strong today, I'm weak tomorrow, I'm inconsistent the next day, then I'm back on that righteous train in 2 weeks. I'm holy for a week, then I break down after 2 weeks. How do we learn to establish some type of consistency in our commitment towards the Most High? Right? Is that not a big issue in our people? Maintaining motivation, maintaining zeal, maintaining the passion to do that which is right.
This is why we sin. Because we go into what are the triggers that get you to sin. But before there's the trigger to sin, there's the laxing of man.
God. And it's the yearning to look for a break.
Yeah.
Really, we work and we're yearning for a break. We're yearning for a timeout. Yes?
24 verse.
What you got? Is it one?
Ecclesiastes 5. It's 1 through 3.
Give me 1 second, man. Listen.
It's a quick run through.
No, can't do that yet. We can't. Just hold it. There will be a better time for that. Okay? So hold this. Let this go. And go to Ecclesiastes, or Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Already saying no, man. Yeah, we did 30 minutes. I waited 30 minutes. It's almost 30 minutes. I know. You waited 30 minutes. I tell the brothers, listen, no pulling verses for 30 minutes, man. Let me get the spirit of things going, and then we'll open it up. But not today, man.
Still rejected.
This is an executive decision. 132. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. Read that.
I love that.
Come. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 7 and verse 8 reads, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof.
Mosai tells us he's not looking at the beginning as much as he's looking at your end. A lot of Israel comes in zealous as hell. There's a lot of extra humble sisters with phenomenal scarving and phenomenal Yahweh Shemar Thabah Hashem Yahushais. It's phenomenal. It is spiritual as hell. Wardrobes are changed. There is spirituality flowing until things get hard, until you get tired, until your flesh gets touched. Then how serious are you about continuing your path towards serving the Heavenly Father? It happens to men, it happens to women. Or after you get what you want, are you still locked into your husband? For women, after you have your child or after you have children, are you still prepared to be a great mother and still serve your husband the way you served him before the child? I've noticed that is a lot of times. Forget this brother. It's all about my kid now. Kids, tomato. What's the point? The point is now I have an additional responsibility. Now I haven't learned to work hard enough to maintain the responsibility of being a mother to my child and still be that wife to my husband.
Can I say this point real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times was always taught that you're supposed to make your current responsibilities second nature, so that you have the mental space to deal with the newer challenge.
Yeah.
But we don't master our basic responsibilities, so when the Most High gives us another responsibility, things start to fall apart because I have all this mental energy going all these ways. I'm gonna have to. Someone has to take a loss.
But listen, it goes back to this. It goes back to men. Brothers have told me in the past that having agreed to how we live, that it's impossible to do the work and raise a family. I said, that's not true. The problem is it's impossible to do the work, raise your family, and you go out to the club.
That's the real concept.
That's the impossibility. That's where it's impossible, y'all. It can't do the work and be at the house. Well, what you didn't say is you got to go out the streets and get your fix in. You don't say that. But the truth is you can't go to the club and ride. You can't ride in the club and have your fun and be a dad and live this life.
It's impossible.
Yes, that is impossible. Something's got to give. So as the Most High keeps demanding more from you, you got to lose you. I don't understand how brothers do this. This ain't the spirit. Oh, it's not the spirit? No, you running them streets and drinking alcohol. I'm going to say alcohol. That ain't the spirit. It's alcohol. That's where it's not going to work. But you can do this work and go home and be about your family. But you know what you then all of a sudden, you know what happens? That itch starts coming out.
Oh yeah.
You got that itch.
Yeah.
You got to get out. You got ants in your pants. You're doing the mashed potatoes.
That's the move.
What is this? They're like, why are you tripping? You know, it's nothing, man. Listen, the Most High gave you the blessings of your family.
It's a lot of pressure.
What's the pressure? What's the pressure? What's the pressure?
A lot of pressure.
You can't run the streets now. No, I'm pressure. How come you just can't go home after a long day's work, enjoy your family, and then sit back and read the Bible and enjoy the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, and then go to sleep and then come back and do it again? How come that's not enough?
Because it's a lot of pressure. That's why I can't do it. It's a lot of pressure.
But you know what? Just like there's a lot of pressure on men, it's the same thing with women. You got to still sit back here and be that mother. You got to be that wife. But guess who has to lose?
It's too much.
You're losing.
It's too much.
You got to let go of your life.
It's too much.
And whatever you feel is necessary for you to download and relax and unwind, that has to die. And because that's the reality of the notion, now all of a sudden I'm inconsistent. Now I can't do this work. Because the work is requiring me, the more the Most High gives me blessings. Didn't the Most High say that Most High gives us 100-fold blessings with what?
Persecution.
But what's the persecutions?
Losing yourself.
There's no more you time anymore. With all these blessings He's giving you, what we want to do is get the blessing. We want to get the blessing and slow our workload down so we can enjoy the blessing and my lifestyle. I want to keep my lifestyle, enjoy my blessing, and slow down on my work. The work that it took to get the blessing. That's the equation that's wisdom to us. Why am I going to sit back and get a blessing I can't enjoy?
That's the real question.
Well,
Men. That's the question that men ask 8 to 10 years deep. They were like, "Oh, I can't enjoy whatever such and such that you got from the."
But I thought you said you wanted to sit back and get the blessing for the glory to the Heavenly Father, because that's what the blessings are for. The blessing of the wife was to help you do the work.
Right.
You were supposed to get the rib. Wasn't the wife supposed to be a helpmeet? The right help for what? For what you want out the deal? or for what the Most High wants you to do in the work. Isn't that what the goal was?
No. That's not what the goal was. That's not the goal.
Like that Rosa Parks shirt, like nah.
That
ain't what it was. That's not what I wanted it.
It's those double statements that Israel makes.
Yeah.
It said, I would sure love this blessing, sir,
Yeah.
so I could serve the Most High in all honor and service and sincerity. Then the Most High keeps leaning on us,
Yep.
and he proves our statements. Really, was it for the work,
Okay.
or was it really for my pleasure, my personal needs?
And that's the dynamic as to why it's so hard for men and women to continue serving the Most High with gladness and joyfulness of heart.
And that's a real question to ask. That's a real question. What is the answer to that?
Bro,
What is the answer to how do I stay zealous and consistent?
because and that's the point. Because the Most High, I don't know if you guys recognize how the Most High is operating your lives, but what's happening is the more you keep doing this, He's blessing you while simultaneously choking out all the things in the flesh that you find happiness in.
Now, what does that mean?
I'm telling
Say it
you.
more simple for me.
You want it more simple.
I want it simpler than that. Like,
Listen.
hey, so you're choking out my happiness? What are you talking about? I don't want to hear that.
Listen, we'll go into it later. Right? Listen,
What is that?
it's the truth.
Like that.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that.
I thought the wicked don't understand that. The people that don't want to hear it can't understand it. Listen, He keeps augmenting your family, more blessings, more children. The work is improving. The work is growing. There's more responsibility. And when the work is growing, guess what? That means I have more people to teach, more people to counsel. Isn't that a blessing? Is it?
See how quiet
Is it really a blessing? There's more people coming to truth. More students means more counsel.
More late nights.
More late nights. No. Let's just focus. More teaching is more counseling. Is more. You have to be a better example for more people. Isn't that blessings?
Yeah.
Is it officer crew over here? Is that not
No one
blessings?
agrees. What officer agrees that? I heard some quietness over there. It's like this.
It's a con. But the point is this: more people that need to get to. Don't everybody talk about, man? There's more students coming, more fruit. Don't you want more fruit? Don't we all want more fruit? Of course.
At what cost, brother?
Listen, more fruit, more sisters coming in. They need more counsel. You know what that means is you have less and less time for you. There's less time, bro, because now you got to give your mind to their problems. We're starting from scratch again.
You become very unimportant. That's what's really happening.
Well, the thing is this: for every spiritual blessing, what's getting dried up? You got to lose more time. Listen, don't you smell it in the air? Right? Sundays are leaving soon. Right? I'm talking about you're keeping partial Sundays, but don't you feel in the air? Right? That Sundays are slowly but surely fading. Don't you see it? And it's not even going to be Sunday service, which is what's going to do it. It's going to be the need for the body. That's a coming. I'm going to say that's a coming. That's a happening. But once again, the need of the body is going to demand more of our time being pulled off. Everybody says they want growth, but there's a cost to that. What's going to happen when we start recruiting on Sabbath and passing out literature? Because that's a coming too. That's a coming. Like Misa. Like give me some Jar Jar language. That's a coming. Akim. And when that comes, guess what happens? That's more time gone. Everybody's now I'm getting the fake smiles. Like, God, yeah. That's what I want.
On top of what you already do.
Because it's on top.
It's not.
We have slowed this down because of the schedule. Now we're gonna lose more time in the name of what? Growth. So once again, the more we grow spiritually, the more you dies. That's the cost. And then once we do it, We gonna be able to slow back and backtrack?
No.
It ain't gonna happen. That's what I mean about the more spiritual we incline to push forward, the more your life gotta go. And that's the cost. That's the cost of the service. And this is why people have a problem with the work. This is where the inconsistency, the root of it, comes from. We're having problems just operating at the basic level and finding peace at the basic level of responsibility. We're not even ready for what it takes to be greater. We're not even ready for it. We're running and dreading just the basic demand that the body has for us. This is why all the questions about how do I sit back here and sustain this? How do you do it every day? And I asked some brothers to ask me, how do you do it every day? I said, you know what? I decided when I was 18, I'm giving my life up completely. That's the answer. Then everybody's like, huh? Yes. I could have went one way in the world. I could have pursued athletic career. I had to make a decision early. It's not about to my own horn. What it is, listen, am I going to go make a run for the league? Or am I going to commit to the Most High? I can't play it both ways. So make a choice and commit to it for the long run.
Stick with it.
But a lot of us have a problem with committing to things for the long run. Good, bad, or indifferent. Anyway, when you read Ecclesiastes 7 and 8, the Most High said, he's more concerned and appreciative for finishing something than just starting it.
Now, what is that talking about? So you're saying that these new ideas, new goals, these new achievements to feel good, you're really drawing yourself into, once you achieve it, can you sustain it?
And add more responsibility
the sustaining
to
of it
you.
is the losing of the life.
God. But he wants us to be focusing on finishing something. Listen, if I'm a wife, can I sit back here and find joy in being a good wife to my husband and pleasing him the way he needs to be pleased and be a good mother to my children and realize there's not a lot of time left for me? How many people can accept that? Or do we sit back here and establish some kind of protest when I don't get what I want when I want it? Because I get a lot of reports about sisters who flip out when they don't get their time. Why can't we realize, as brothers, we're explaining this dynamic with men. What are we explaining? Most High is taking more and more time from them. Do you think that just goes one way?
Nope.
Why can't sisters also accept that you got to be a mother, a wife, and at the very end you might get some time, you might not? And can we understand that's because this is how the Most High wants it? This is how we have to accept it. But this is why we're inconsistent. Because we want something out the deal. We want a break in the action. We want blessings and breaks. Double B's,
Yeah.
We want blessings and breaks. I said double B's, but you get my point.
But it's not real.
It's not real. It's all fake.
Blessings and
breaks. It's not a real thing. It's like black unity.
Yeah,
those things are
not true.
It's not going to happen. Not in America.
Yeah. You got the black unity.
It's not the case. Those two words don't match.
They're opposite.
That's what I'm saying. Just like breaks and blessings don't match. These are facts.
Good idea.
Listen, it's good in the t-shirt. It's great in the t-shirt. That's as far as it's going. But let these two verses go because we're just getting started and we got to go. And that's partially my fault. But let's go. Let's do Deuteronomy 32.
You know what's so crazy, bro? This not going to change the conversation. This old man said, this guy was strong, bro. Strong old man, like 70 years old, in really great shape. He says, I have to work out every day because I'm 70.
I understand that.
Listen, I understand. He said basically he's saying that if you're young, you can take breaks because your body will maintain because you're young. But he said when you're this old, You have to every single day to maintain. And to me, that's like backwards.
Huh?
Wouldn't it be because I'm older that I need some days off?
Hell no. Because you know why? Because when you get older, your body constantly needs blood flow out.
Mm-hmm.
And your joints start giving you real problems. The only way to neutralize that joint stiffness is blood flow out. You're not moving your body constantly, you can forget it, bro. You can damn forget it. So yes, he is 1,000% correct. But I want to still stay on the theme of Israel. And once they get what they want, they start coasting. Once they get what they think they deserve in their life, they start coasting. Okay, and I think this is important for us because as our camp continues to evolve and grow, we have to make sure we talk about it all the time. The enemy of our school would be complacency. Once we get to where we want to be,
So
are we going to start getting relaxed? Or are we going to sit back and create scenarios to keep everybody back fighting on their toes again? That's something we all have to be conscious of. But Deuteronomy 32 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15.
This is a real thing, and I don't think it's been brought out like this. But let's read this: Deuteronomy 32 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15.
Okay, read
I'm not
that.
the only one.
But Jeshurun waxed fat.
So who is Jeshurun? Jeshurun is the Israelites, upright ones. Jeshurun means upright ones.
The righteous Israelites.
The righteous Israelites. Israel. We wax fat. What does wax fat mean? We increased. We were sustained. We worked hard and got stable.
We won.
We worked hard. We got stable. Jeshurun's the nation.
Yeah.
We worked hard, got stable, and real quick, I want to make sure I am saying this correctly because I read it today and earlier parts of it yesterday also. There it goes. So, yeah, read it again from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
Listen, when you sit back and look at the definition of kicked in this pretense, the word kicked is ba'at. And ba'at means we wax fat and despised.
Different.
We despised how hard we had to work to get thick in the first place.
That's real.
And to get healthy in the first place. That's why we rebelled. Because we had to bust our tail to be a potent nation. And as soon as we got potent, we despised what it took to get potent.
And that
This is the antithesis of what Solomon said that we were supposed to do. We were supposed to rise up and bust our tail to be a potent nation, then learn to maintain that, and then grow on top of that. But what happens to us by nature? We despised how hard we had to work to get the things we got.
I got this. And the exact speech that brothers say, and sisters and people, they say, why am I this much? Why am I working this hard? Why do I have to keep this pace? And then they say, this is stupid. And they look at other people and they look at everybody else's life, and everybody's life for some reason is like they're comfortable. They're still blessed. Why can't I be comfortable and still be blessed?
Why? Or my question is, how come we can't learn what works for us and the level of work we have to do to get blessed? Why can't we just realize this is what the Most High wants from me? The Most High wants me to work at this level for Him to bless me. He wants me to give up this much in my flesh to attain a blessing or recognition. Why can't I just accept that? We despise the level of commitment it took to get the things that look good, that are blessings in the eyes of Heavenly Father. For sisters, y'all sisters busted your tails, the one who actually put the work into the sewing. Do you think it's going to get any easier? There ain't going to be no fingers going to be swollen from cutting and putting those studs together. It's not going to get any easier. All we can do is sit back here and offer opportunities for other sisters to actually to like even out the weight of pressure. But the point is, once you set a standard, there's no turning back to that standard. Once you set a standard of teeth, this is why we're not going to let young officers just throw some whoopity whoop and I flippity flop and I rhyme and I rip and I rip and I rhyme. That's not going to happen. That's not going to be accepted here, right? Because the standard has already been accepted and established to put X amount of time and preparation to classes.
Hours and hours.
I know how much time I got to put into preparation. Then we gonna let other guys come in and just do some 5-minute slop job out and think it's gonna be okay. Yeah, I gave him some verses. That ain't gonna work, guys.
Whippity wop.
I will get out of bed, drive down here, and take the goddamn class over. And say, you can sit down in the opposite table out. We're gonna sit back and take some respect to this position. Because the expectation is here. We're not going down. That's how camps fall. That's how schools fall. That's how the work diminishes. That's how serious you have to take the work that you're responsible for. He's telling you why we fell. Deuteronomy 32 and 15 from the top again.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked
And despised
all the work they had to do to get to the spot that they're at. So they're fixated on taking breaks. Because they were tired of working to get to this spot. Now it's time to retire. That was being talked about.
That's the enemy of most things, but especially Israel.
Mm-hmm.
The retirement fixation.
Let me take it easy. I'm getting older now. Then get your ass out the position in and give it to somebody who's hungry. That's the answer. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's how Israel gets. I didn't say that. Israel waxed fat. We grew. We accomplished. And then we despised the work and the commitment it took to get the blessing.
But the funny part is, we'll put that much work every day if we're in slavery.
Yeah.
If we're in slavery.
For carnal goals.
Listen, for carnal goals or slavery. I'm forced to by means of slavery, and there's a whip on my back. I will give that much effort, or I will lose everything. My family will walk out the door if I don't give this amount of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I just think the terminology even motivate ourselves to do it. We just call it grinding.
Yeah.
Grind.
God. I'll grind for what I want in the carnal. But the Most High is like, you got to grind this hard in the spiritual.
And that's the disconnect for I think everybody. That's the reason why this class is here.
Yeah. And that's the point. We think, I've done good for so long, why do I have to keep doing good? Can't there be a calm time for me? If you're going to be honest, there is calm times. If you sit back and look at the seasons and the flow of how the Most High does things, there's certain times when there's no breaks and it's all turn up. Then there's times where there is little more time to handle this and handle that. If you're honest about the situation, but for a person who's looking for a break, there's never a break.
And we want breaks on our clock.
That's the point.
I want a break.
When I want a
break.
break. Yes.
That's when people start flipping and tripping and barking and
then I don't understand. I need counsel.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
This is when people ask, how do you stay consistent?
This is rigor.
There you go.
Men will have the rigor complaint. The rigor.
But it's the rigor, or they wax fat and kicked.
Yeah.
So read it from the top again. Deuteronomy 32 and 15.
Verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
And despised. They despised the process of getting fat. Read on.
It says, thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick.
Hold this and go to Ecclesiasticus 7 and 15 in the scriptures. In the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 7 and 15.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 15.
What's up?
No, I got it. It's coming. It's coming. I forgot that was in here. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 15. Hate not laborious work.
Most High said, don't hate laborious work. So a lot of times we want to sit back and run from hard work. run from labor-intensive work, run from work that demands every part of your being and your mind, where you need scriptures to study to get you even in the mind to do it. He says, don't hate that work that demands the most from you. But check this also out. Read on.
Neither husbandry.
Neither husbandry. When we sit back and you see husbandry, you think working on the farm, E-I-E-I-O. You know what I'm saying? Working these pigs, working these sheep, That's what we think when we think about husbandry. But let's go into the definition of husbandry. Husbandry, I think it was in 1828. I think it was in 1828. I do, but there's let me see. Husbandry. Just give me a second. No, it's one. I want number one.
Husbandry in 1828. Frugality. Domestic economy.
Nope, I said one. Yeah, read it again. Sorry.
The noun.
No, we're good. One.
Oh.
Frugality.
So he says, don't hate laborious work, neither frugality. When you sit back here and look at frugality, let's look at frugality.
Frugality, 1828, Webster's Dictionary.
And that is, I want to sit back here.
I tell you. Well, lightning.
So potent.
Let me see. Okay, go. Read it. Read number one.
Point number one. Prudent economy, good husbandry, or housewifery, a sparing use or appropriation of money or commodity.
So now he's like, he wants you to work hard, and you can't run from operating in a penny pinching space.
That's tough.
He says, you ain't supposed to be sitting by just blowing money, just getting loose. Just sitting back here and splurging.
Floss.
He says, don't hate laborious work, and don't hate being in a condition where you got to count your pennies, and you got to sit back here and make wise economical decisions because you only have so much to operate with.
Being conservative.
That's what he's saying. But it's conservative, but it's Most High purposely is going to have you in a situation where you have to choose frugality. Don't be pissing and vexing Israel off. I hate the fact that I got to sit back here and stress out about my bread and be smart, and I can't just be comfortable and get what I want and buy what I want and roll how I want to roll. Is that not what trips Israel out all the damn time? I hate having to rob Peter to pay Paul. Then we want to blame Esau for it, right? It's Esau's fault in the wicked kingdom. We say it all the time. Really the wicked Edomite kingdom has got me having to be frugal. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach was in his own kingdom and said, don't sit in the Jew kingdom. And said, stop running from hard work and sitting back here and making wise economic decisions.
Wow.
Read it again. Frugality.
Frugality, prudent economy, good husbandry, or housewifery, a sparing use or appropriation of money or commodity.
He says you got to sit back here and make wise decisions with your shekoyim, wise decisions with your resources.
Wow.
He says, hate not that type of life. But that's the one thing Israel hates about their life. Is that they can't blow their money and smile and buy clothes.
Can't blow it back.
And get a bunch of hair products out. look shiny out.
That's only.
I can't get my hair braided every week.
That's only Southern Kingdom, man. That's Southern Kingdom talk.
I do know, but if you on that shit, I can't braid every day. I can't look sharp. I can't change. I don't have enough changes of shoes at. You know that'd be vexing, brothers. I don't have enough shoe rotation.
Only 4 shoe rotation. This is whack. That's what I have any shoes at all.
These are real, and this vexes certain men. He said you have to learn to sit back and operate in a frugal place and stop running from having to sit back here and be wise with your money.
But there's a reason why.
Because you know what he's telling you is you're not going to be rich. If I got to be in a position where I got to be wise with my spending and my decision making, it's because you weren't meant to be rich. You were meant to be in this place where you have to use discretion, use wisdom, not get comfortable. Because this wasn't the place for you to get comfortable. If the scripture is saying, I don't want you to sit back here, I want you to get used to spending your money wisely, it's because he didn't intend you to be blowing your money. He didn't intend you to have a whole bunch of money to blow in the first place. Isn't that what messing with men's head? I don't have enough money. I can't go and get no cars. I can't get no cars. I can't roll do what I want. Is that not what bothers men?
See?
No, nobody's speaking.
There it goes again.
There's silence in Israel.
Any thumbs down coming up? You got any thumbs downers?
It might be.
Where the downers at?
Well, listen, I'm not going to downers in the building.
I know.
They want to give me thumbs down in the class.
I got to ask them to thumbs down. They want to throw them in there.
They're going to sit back here like going and thumbs down this guy. He's going to do it in class.
Shalom, I don't know who said that. I don't know who did that.
No. What am I trying to explain? Read it from the top again. Hate not laborious work, neither husbandry. But one of the words of husbandry is what?
Frugality.
Is frugality. Go from the top again.
Frugality, prudent economy, good husbandry, or housewifery.
Means you gotta work hard, go to the job, do job stuff, and still be a good house servant, quote unquote, wife.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes that.
And you know what? That housewife and that man has to pinch pennies,
Yep.
rob Peter to pay Paul, make smart decisions with the resources the Most High provides each and every one of our families.
You gotta be a good economist.
Because you know why? Because he's not giving you. You have to learn to be a good economist because he's not going to give you all this excess to make a bunch of mistakes with.
That makes sense.
He's telling you this. Why do you have to be frugal? Because I'm going to give you your what? Your daily bread. That's what he's going to give you. So if he's going to give you your daily bread, prepare your mind to operate frugally because he's going to give you what you need, not what you want.
Yep.
Does that make sense? This is the Bible. This isn't a war.
Do you agree? The difference, huh?
There's not listen, I don't think everybody agrees, but we better learn how the Most High thinks and make decisions on this. So,
If we said the Esau's kingdom is going down, do you agree? Come on!
okay, listen, the Most High, this is in Israel's kingdom. This scripture was written at. This wasn't in Babylon. This was not in Babylon at. This was in Israel. Let's continue.
Frugality, prudent economy, good husbandry, or housewifery, a sparing use or appropriation of money or commodity.
That's what this sucks. I have to work this hard. That's what people are really saying. This sucks. I have to work this hard and I don't get to enjoy it. That sucks. Then brothers go protest.
And no, you know how they protest? They slow down their efforts.
Yeah.
They don't give it the intensity that they normally would if they thought they were going to get something out the deal.
You give
They boycott.
But they boycott by how slow they work. This pace is slow down. Why does this pace slow down? It doesn't matter anyway. I'm not going to get what I wanted out of it anyway. So whether I'm working at a 10 or a 5 doesn't matter. I'm going to get paid the same. So why kill myself? This is the mind of the sluggard, the angry man. Yes. But let's keep going.
That's the truth, though.
More in that definition.
A judicious use of anything to be expended or employed, that careful management of money or goods.
That what?
Careful management.
So you're telling me that I got to work hard and I still have to think.
Yes.
That's another game we play too.
Yeah.
We love to grind, and then I just want to think it all. There's no thinking, there's no conscious, there's no idea decisions, there's no counseling. There's just I busted my tail. I don't want to hear out my nothing.
So I'm just going to spend money, and I don't want to realize that by buying this is going to affect me 2 weeks later. I can't pay my electric bill. I can't pay my water bill. I don't want to think about all that. I just want to think about what I need right now. I want this. Well, let's keep going.
It says that careful management of money or goods which expends nothing unnecessarily.
So listen, he says tapping into the spirit of frugality is about not getting anything that's unnecessary.
That means no pleasure.
He says don't hate that type of life. But we hate that type of life.
Yep.
And if you're honest, the Most High has given us this life. He has given us this life. But it's a life most and a lot of Israelites don't accept. So in the process of us pushing for more, then we put ourselves in compromising situations that put us in spots where we start compromising right from wrong. Because this isn't enough for us.
And that's the...
But then we want to blame the camp and the truth.
Yeah.
But if you read the Bible, you realize, hey man, this was the life he chose for us to keep us humble.
Why?
Because when I blew you up and I made you wealthy landowners, what did you do? We kicked.
Anyway.
We despised the work anyway. So Most High understood, if I give you everything, you're gonna despise the situation. So I got to keep you grinding. Most High, how do I keep you grinding? Because if I give you everything, you don't appreciate it. So I got to keep you hand to mouth every day to keep you pushing. And Israel hates living hand to mouth every day. Every day, daily bread in it. People hate it, but that's how he keeps us humble and reading Bible verses.
But there would be no study.
If I'm comfortable, if I got 10, 15 racks in the bank, 20 racks in the bank, stress out for
I'll
what?
take another day out.
Stress out for what? With good credit?
It's not time to counsel. I'll be all right.
Yeah. But let's keep going. There's more in this class. We're just getting started. Let's keep going.
Kind. It says.
Frugality is. I just want frugal. Well, keep going.
Kind. It says and applies what is used to a profitable purpose.
So instead of sitting back here and blowing on frivolous, unnecessary things, you apply these resources to things that have a purpose that can actually sustain you down the line.
That's why.
But there's no fun in that. When you start talking business, somebody's that's not fun in that. There's no fun in that. There's no vacations in that. Let's keep reading them.
There's no chill time in that.
There's no chill time in that. Read on.
That use in which nothing is wasted.
Kinda.
It is not equivalent to parsimony, the latter being an excess of frugality and a fault.
He said it's not about being extreme in your frugality. It's not about being extreme in not spending money on anything.
Any respect.
It's about just having your priorities in line and accepting a life where you're not going to have a lot of excess. So let me take my resources and disperse it in the proper places for the well-being of the house and the family.
Which means I'm at peace if I don't get what I want for extended periods of time.
And I'm at peace because I got what I need. I'm at peace because my family has what they need, not what they want. You can make do without what you want. But you know what that kills? This lifestyle kills the what? The ego. It kills the ego. It kills the pride. It kills that pride of life where you want to shine and show out and look what I got here. Looky what I got here. Look at the new toy I got. It breaks the ego. And a lot of men can't operate with confidence without the ego. A lot of people feel that they got to get ego things to feel good about themselves. That's the truth about our people.
I need a flex to be content.
And then we'll sit back here, we're kings and queens. Okay. We use the kings and queens excuse because I just don't want to be frugal and live a frugal, humble life. Because the truth is, when we get sad about conditions like this, it's because really my self-esteem is tied into what I have in the carnal, what I have in the physical. And our happiness and self-esteem should be based upon my understanding of the scriptures, my understanding of this book, my understanding of my service to the Heavenly Father. And this is why the Most High puts us in conditions like this, in conditions of husbandry, to humble us and to starve out that ego, to where we can learn to value what really matters. So the Most High shows us so much love on a daily basis because He doesn't give us the extra.
But the issue is, we don't comprehend the Most High's love. We don't understand how it's love. And we start to buck. Everything you're giving me and doing for me is only nourishing my spirit. I don't understand. This is for long-term nourishment.
Because we don't understand because we don't want to accept it. He's telling us, don't hate husbandry. Don't hate sitting back here every day making wise decisions about your finance because you're never going to have it to where you're just overly comfortable. You can do what you want when you want it. That wasn't the intention of the young men and women he's trying to build. Because how can he build you if this person is always choosing pleasure and comfort? If the Most High is building you, he's going to keep you uncomfortable so he can get the most out of you spiritually. And it's up to us to accept this notion that the Most High has for us. A lot of times we can't accept it, though.
Well, because part of the problem is not understanding what you're asking for when you say you want righteousness. Because righteousness produces four things. I'm not going to go into the verse, but I'm going to the four things that it's producing. It's producing temperance, which is what? Moderation.
You can pull a verse. You can pull a verse now if you want. You can if you want.
I'll pull the verse.
Because we can do a little pause before we go on to the next one.
Give me Wisdom Solomon 8 and verse 7.
I knew he had something he's waiting on, man.
I wasn't going to pull the verse.
No, not 8 and 7. I'm going there.
Well, you said pull the verse. I know. No more Wisdom Solomon 8 and 7.
That's the point. You said the four things are what?
Okay. The four things in which the righteousness is producing. First is temperance. The temperance is moderation. So when we're praying for righteousness, we're doing the labors which incur virtues, which incur results. You're going to get more temperance. You're going to learn how to be content and be happy with moderation.
That's really what I pray for.
That's what you pray for. That's what you're asking for. Which means everything around you is going to force you to be moderate. If you had a problem with drinking, everything around you is going to force you to not drink as much. I'll tell you this. You work as hard as you do, well, in this particular camp, there ain't no time to be drinking. Your body will not recover by 4 in the morning if you're drinking every day. It's just not going to happen. If you want to sit here and teach, there's no time to sit here on TV and Instagram all day long. It's just not enough time in the day. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. Whatever your vice is that you, they call it surfeiting, you overindulge in, it will be cut short and it will force you to be moderate. That's the first aspect or the first virtue you get if you're pursuing righteousness. The second one is prudence, which is what? Practical wisdom. What's up? Surfeiting. Yes. Surfeiting. There's way in that. I got a class. All right.
Yeah, just the concept surfeiting.
But the
excess.
Surfeiting is overindulgence or excess to the point where you get yourself sick. For instance, if you surfeit TV, if you watch too much TV, for some who used to play video games, play a lot of video games, what happens? Your eye starts twitching. Your eye starts burning. Can't sleep at night. You're too wired. You have too much of a dopamine, too much of a dopamine increase in your life. So that blue light will keep you all night. What do you mean? There's a negative result from surfing too much television.
Excess.
So this environment, if you want virtue, you're going to be forced to be more moderate. The second one is prudence, which is practical wisdom. You're going to realize your wisdom, your ninja wisdom, does not work in this environment. So everything around you will start making you think like how the Most High wants you to think. Because everything's not going to work anymore. Maybe in the world you can pull it off. In the truth, it just suddenly does not work. Without counsel, without a lot of counsel and a lot of reading. The third one is justice. Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing according to the Most High. And the fourth one is the fortitude. How do you build fortitude? Having long days. Many, many long days. It's long suffering. That was a blessing. To have long suffering or be put in environments that will force you to suffer builds that mental endurance, that mental toughness. Because a lot of us have never been put in situations where we have to overexert ourselves to accomplish anything. So the Most High is going to make an effort to make you overexert yourself to see if you really want this or not.
God, and we're going to go into, and I know where you're going with the Wisdom of Solomon. I was going to go into that a little bit later after our group drive a couple points, because what you're saying is we have to learn to love.
Yeah.
We keep talking about what we want and how the Most High doesn't want us to love these carnal things.
Yeah.
But we have to learn to not want these carnal things, but you got to learn to love something else.
Okay.
As I'm learning to hate these carnal things. Let's finish frugality up real quick, and then we'll go on to the point.
Frugality, 1828, Webster's Dictionary. It says, it is not equivalent to parsimony.
Then go to the next part.
It says, frugality is always a virtue.
Frugality is a virtue. It's a spiritual virtue. The acceptance of the life the Most High gave us. And can I learn to sit back here and just be okay with the condition I'm in? and learn how to manage my resources here and be at peace. And we went into it a while ago about how most men and most people, when they keep getting blessings, they don't appreciate the blessings, because when they get one set of blessings, then their expectation for more blessings is keep getting higher and higher and higher. The opposite of that nature is frugality. I learned to make do with the resources I have. And then the Most High blessed me, then I'll learn to make do with those resources. That's how you neutralize that desire for always to have more. Because the flesh can never be satiated. So to neutralize that insatiable flesh, learn to not want those things in the flesh and be appreciative for where you're at. That's why frugality is a virtue. Husbandry is a virtue. And this is why Sirach said, don't hate husbandry. Don't hate the life that the Most High gave you. Don't hate laborious work. And don't hate how the work it takes to properly manage the resources the Lord gave you. If you can learn that, you can kill 80% of the regret we have for living the life we live. Right or wrong?
With that verse,
Israel lives with so much anger and why has it got to be this way? Why do I got to sit back here and live under these circumstances? Why has it got to be so hard? Why do I got to live check for check? There's never a break. There's only enough to pay my bills. Isn't that the speech everybody got?
Yep.
Okay.
He said it loud. That's true.
It's the truth. All of us, I don't give a damn, all of us are like that. And when brothers get ribs and get additional monies, guess what's going to happen? You're still only going to have enough to pay your damn bills. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Whatever little extra blessing, he'll give you just enough to pay those damn bills. You'll get a nice, better job. Guess what? You're going to lose some stamps. Them stamps is out of here. That insurance is out of here. Now you're paying out of pocket.
Yeah. Hey, you know, the scripture says how much vanity that is, because what it says is the only benefit of having an increase is you get to see it with your eyes. That don't mean it gets to stay. Is the vanity is the more you increase, the more someone else eats it up. And you get to see it. You a witness that was there at one point in time, and it's gone like that.
That is how the Most High keeps us humble. And we sit back here and get angry. I don't know why this ain't fair. What you going to say?
No, I just wanted to show, you know.
You want to pull that verse?
I don't have to pull. I was just gonna speak about it.
Okay.
But I was going to speak about how even Christ said when he sent out his disciples to go look and find John the Baptist, he asked them, what did you see when you saw him? Did you see anybody with soft raiment? There was no soft raiment. He says the soft raiment is for kings' houses. He said the prophet, John the Baptist. Okay. Matthew 11 and verse 8 real quick. And then what was the comparison?
Matthew chapter 11, verse 8.
Yes, sir. 11 and verse 8.
Says Matthew 11 and 8. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold.
I have a rhetorical question right there. He said, if you're looking for John the Baptist, the man that I know, he's not wearing no soft clothing. Because his spirit is about being chafed and having fortitude. And living a very austere, serious life.
You know, that hard raiment, that man accepted his life's going to always be hard.
It's going to always be hard out. Everything about it going to be hard out. You know, brothers think hard is the super skinny pants now. Super skinny pants, you got suede boots. That's hard now in Jacob world. Christ said, no, if you had tough raiment, uncomfortable raiment, that was a reflection of your mindset. Christ always used similes and metaphors to explain the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. John the Baptist wore the hard raiment or the uncomfortable raiment to show what was true in his mind. It was always going to be an austere life. It was going to be the locust and the honey type lifestyle. The clothes just let you know where his mind was at.
Done.
That's what the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 19:30. A man shall be known by his what? His look and his attire.
An excessive laughter in his gait.
Excessive laughter in his gait.
You got brothers giggling all the time. You know that's a damn problem, man.
There ain't no seriousness going on. There's no seriousness, but your look, how you display, how you carry yourself, and your clothes. Sometimes, you know, I remember one time, Kawakar was speaking, teaching and stuff, and it shocked me when he was praising the sisters. The sisters, I guess, at one point sent him some boots. He's explaining how he wore his boots out so much to where you could see the toes going through. Those were his day-to-day work boots. And he was appreciative that They gave him some new boots. But my question was, why was that not one of his first concerns? When I was in college, if my shoes was getting beat up, I wasn't going to be looking crazy out there. At one point in time, I wasn't going to be walking around with faded up, without being faded up. You couldn't catch me without being clean, faded up, and nice. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to be sharp. And that's how I hear Kyle Cobb teach, and how that wasn't a concern of his. That wasn't a motivation of his. He was thankful that was given to him. But again, that wasn't going to dictate his work or not. He was going to go to work with a crazy raiment, not protected at all. You know, you got shoes that are open. You're liable for any type of diseases that might happen, foot fungal diseases. But what he's explaining, this is a mind of a man that's living frugal, or with frugality. Read from the top again, verse 8.
Verse 8. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment?
Mm-hmm.
Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in king's house.
Those are kings, and we're servants. Our job is to be servants, being in a servant mindset, being a chafe and a serious mindset, because that's how Christ was, and that's how John the Baptist was. The Bible says, praise great men. We have to acknowledge and figure out how did they live their daily life, and start tracing after those type of men, versus tracing after these effeminate boys, these Egyptians.
We're going to that in a little bit.
Con.
Well, you done with that?
I'm done with that.
Let's go real quick now to Ecclesiasticus 17, verse 16 and 18. Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, verse 16 and 18.
Ecclesiastes chapter 17 and verse 16. Every man from his youth is given to evil.
Listen, the Most High is telling us about the nature of our people. Our people at birth, since birth, are given to evil, given to comfort, given to looking for the easy way out. That's just our nature. Read on.
Neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stoning.
And our people never learn. It's not a natural inclination to care about our people, to have a consideration for our people. We're naturally just cold-hearted to one another. That's why I said that black unity is not a real thing, because we don't really have a unity for our own people. Look at all the people on the side, from Judah to Issachar, Ephraim, Simeon. We don't love each other. We don't have a natural inclination to care about them.
Yeah.
That's a curse.
Deuteronomy 28 says that was going to happen.
And we're stony. We have stony hearts. Right?
Right.
So jump to verse 18.
Verse 18. Whom, being his firstborn,
We're still talking about Israel, his nation. Read on.
he nourisheth with discipline.
The way the Most High nourishes and develops us is by discipline. And the disciplines that the Most High puts us through, if we learn to embrace them, they become our spiritual virtues. And this is, I don't think we understand, this is how the Most High develops us, is by putting us through challenging, uncomfortable, difficult situations. By putting us through laborious work and husbandry, the hope is to sit back here and develop virtues in us. He develops us by making it hard on us. He's telling us the game plan. I love you, and because I love you, I'm going to nurture you and nourish you by making life uncomfortable. And now you got to use these scriptures and counsel and reading to learn how to see the good in the nourishment. See the good in the discipline. Okay? Now, continue.
Okay. And giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him.
He says the Most High gave us the light of his love. The fire, the difficulties, the hard life really is how the Most High shows us how much he loves us. Okay? Now, we're going to jump now to Amos chapter 6, verse 1.
I've not been doing this.
Huh?
I said I have not been doing this. No.
Amos chapter 6, verse 1. This is an important, well, all the verses are important, but this is another aspect of those issues in our people. Amos 6 and 1. All I want is the first line. I don't want to go deep into the rest of it.
Come. Amos chapter 6 and verse 1. Woe to them that are at ease in Zion.
Now, he says, woe to the Israelites that are at ease in Zion. Now, I'm going to go into that same, what do you call it, a war? That eastward breakdown of the words. And I'm going to go to Amos 6 and 1. And it says, woe to them that are at ease. When you sit back here and look at the definition of ease, it gives you secure. So it's woe to Israel that's operating in security. What is the one thing that Israel yearns the most?
Security.
We want security. We want it easy. We want the pathway to be stress-free, bill-free, comfortable. That's what everybody yearns for. He says destruction comes to the one that pushes for security. Now, it goes also into haughty, that is at ease. He says the haughty individual yearns for ease. The haughty individual,
What's haughty?
haughty is pride, is an aspect of pride. But this haughty, now you gotta give me one more verse. I have to do this other verse. But this haughty individual feels that it doesn't make sense that you have to work hard. I've done enough. The haughty individual feels that I've done enough. The haughty individual craves for ease because the haughty person feels that I have sacrificed, I've dedicated, I've lost enough. It's time for me to gain a break. Okay, I'm going to go into that. It's going to make more sense as we continue. But the haughty person, haughty that is at ease, quiet. Now, hold this verse. And I want to jump to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 22 and 10. Because this haughty person that is at ease, this proud person tells himself he has done enough, he's sacrificed enough, he's lost enough. Now it's time to live the life that I want to live. Yes, I? We're going to go into... let me finish this part first. Okay? Ecclesiastes 22 and 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 22, verse 10. But children, being haughty.
He says, children being haughty. The same haughty people that the Most High says the person that wants ease has. Read on.
It says, through disdain and want of nurture.
Listen, the haughty person disdains the nurturing the Most High gives you. But what did we just read in Ecclesiastes 17? How the Most High nurtures us. He nourishes us with what? Discipline. The Most High nourishes us or nurtures us with discipline. The haughty person despises the discipline. But what's the discipline? But it's the nurturing, the discipline, the frugality, the laborious work. That's how the Most High develops us. And the haughty person despises the labor, despises the frugality, despises the commitment, and the work it takes to get blessed, the work it takes to be sustained. The haughty person, read verse 10 again, Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 22, verse 10. But children, being haughty, through disdain.
They're haughty, but their pride comes from the fact that they don't want to be nourished and developed. They don't want to live this hard life. They want to be comfortable. They want ease. This is why Amos 6 and 1 says, woe to the individual that is at ease. The haughty person wants ease and doesn't want the Most High's nurturing. The haughty person doesn't want how the Most High develops us. This is us all the time. We don't like how the Most High develops us. We want the comfort. We pursue the ease. So read it again, verse 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 22, verse 10. But children, being haughty, through disdain and want of nurture, do stain the nobility of their kindred.
And he says a lot of people stain the name of their family because they disdain how the Most High develops them. And he says, and are in want of nurture. They need the development. They need the discipline. But they hate it and they run from it. And they despise it. And because the haughty person despises the workload and the discipline that he requires to develop you, you're lacking, you're wanting, but you hate it. And that person ends up shaming your whole family. This is what kills us. We hate the work. We hate the mechanism that the Most High has created to develop us. We run from it.
So are you saying that I hate the condition of my life when the work's not being accomplished, and I hate the condition of my life when the work is being accomplished?
God. Listen, we hate how the Most High nourishes us. We hate how the Most High develops us. He develops us from hard work and frugality. And we hate that. But to do that, that's how you get big and grow in the spirit. But we hate how he nurtures us. We run from it. But we're lacking in these elements, so therefore we can never grow in the world either. Listen, Israel by nature are quitters. Right or wrong? We're quitters. We don't finish anything in our life. We don't know. Most of us have never accomplished anything in our life in the world, let alone the truth. So when the Most High is nurturing us with discipline, we run from it in the truth. And we think we can do it better than the world, but you lack all the components to succeed in the world too.
Entirely, yeah.
How many brothers go in the world and succeed after leaving the work? Very few. Because you lack the components to grow in this arena. You think you're going to have the components you need to grow in the world? No. You still need work ethic, discipline, make common sense decisions. Be able to sit back here and work up the corporate ladder. You can't do it here. You can't do it there.
You got to deny yourself in the world too.
God, you still got to have work ethic and commitment and be a team player. You cannot play no damn weirdo. If you can't make it here, you can't make it there. This is what the Most High is saying. We run from the grind here, but we're lacking of the things we need to get what we want out there. So you're going to be ashamed to everybody you're associated with because you just can't accept and accept how the Most High develops mankind through hard work, dedication, and commitment. Stop hating the process that he develops us in. That's the point. Okay. Now, finish that verse 10. Let's read it from the top again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 22, verse 10. But children, being haughty, through disdain and want of nurture, do stain the nobility of their kindred.
Con. Now go to Proverbs 18 and 12. Because what it's showing you is this haughty person doesn't want to put the work in. He wants comfort and ease and rewards without putting the work in. He doesn't feel that he has to sacrifice at the level that's being demanded of him to get the things he wants in his life. Yes, I.
Right. Okay. It's like sometimes when you reach a point of like you hit your comfort zone, you feel like you get pushed past it. It's almost like you feel like you deserve what the Most High to let up.
Yep. Or you tell yourself it doesn't have to be this way. I've heard that 1,000 times. It doesn't have to be this way.
That's the main speech.
It doesn't have to be this hard. That's just your opinion. But people have never showed how their works actually prove to come out to anything either. Everybody that says it doesn't have to be this way have never shown how it has to be in real life.
It doesn't
have to be this way. Well, then somebody show me how it needs to be successful in something?
It doesn't have to be that.
All I keep hearing is it doesn't have to be this. Then show how it has to be. Nobody gives me the answer to that question. So we're going to keep pushing. Somebody got to figure it out. Anyway, let's read that. Proverbs 18 and 12.
God, Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 12. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty.
The Most High, just before you fall, the heart of man is haughty. He tells himself, I don't got to do this no more. This is too much. I despise how the Most High nurtures me. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to kick.
This is unnecessary.
This is unnecessary. Before you fall is when people start saying that. That's how you know they're almost out of here, and Most High is going to remove them. When they start saying it don't got to be this way, or I'm really not feeling how hard I got to be pushed and developed. They're on their way out.
This is too much.
They're about to fall. Because you're saying, I don't value and appreciate how the Most High develops me, but I still think I can develop on my own. You're on your way out if you can't accept the conditions of how the Most High develops you. It's just that simple. Okay. Did you have something to share on that?
Yeah. Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 1 through 3.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 5,
Yep.
verse 1. Starting verse 1. Set not thy heart upon thy good.
That's what it says. Don't set your heart or your passions. Don't look at what you've got or what you're getting or set it up too high or too much of an esteem, so to speak. Because what the Most High is judging and He's trying to determine is this what you're getting, this blessing, going to sway your heart?
This is holiness.
Exactly. It's going to sway your heart, sway your motivation, and sway your dedication. Just don't make what you're getting too important, because it's not important. Read on.
Come and say not, I have enough for my life.
I've done enough.
Yeah,
I've committed
exactly.
enough.
Exactly.
I've sacrificed enough.
Meaning
That's a hardiness there.
There is an unlawful, or rather an unrighteous contentment,
Yep.
so to speak. If you're content with the circumstances that the Most High is putting you in to challenge your virtues,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yep.
But if you're content, or you're striving to be content or secure in what you physically have, your fiscal goods, your materialistic goods, that's when you start slipping in the spirit.
Now, can I clarify one thing? What we're really saying, because the Most High is a spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm content where I am in the spirit.
Done.
I'm content at my soldiership. Even though I can be an officer, even though I can mentor more men and put men under my wing, I'm content with being an 8-year soldier.
Come.
Or I am a mid-level officer, and I'm content with being a mid-level officer. I don't want the pressure of being a captain, because that comes with more responsibility and more mental flexibility.
Come.
Right?
Come.
So when I was going into materials and the materials of your household, or whatever materials you're dealing with, you really go on to the materials of your spirit.
Exactly.
Because, okay, I have enough discipline to make 300 4 days in a row.
Yep.
Then why not make it every day then? Because what happens to brothers. Once brothers make 300 at the zone, then it starts collapsing. Or brothers get to $200, day's over.
Huh?
Or whenever brothers sit here and make rank, that's it.
Yep.
You can never get comfortable with your spiritual development.
Come. And you can never be comfortable, or rather, you can never feel secure if you have a lot of goods and wealth. Because there's two reasons why someone will be secure in their wealth. One, they've already accepted the fact they've sacrificed the Most High to get what they want in life. And two, I don't think that I could ever come down from this hill, this financial hill. These are both prides. So it says, don't be, read from the top again.
Chapter 5, verse 1. Set not thy heart upon thy goods.
Exactly. Don't be too tied to these goods. It can be gone. Because a lot of people, they get depressed when they lose their goods.
Yeah.
They work hard and they get what they've always wanted, they've always dreamed, and when the Most High takes it away from them, now they feel like everything I worked up to was for no reason.
I'm cursed, Doc.
I'm cursed. The Most High is not with me no more. It was all for nothing. This is where you get the Solomon's vanity upon vanities. That's where that comes in. I did all this work to get these things, and it ain't worth nothing.
What was the point?
What was the point? But the point was, He was blessing you. He was giving you things to sustain you. But it wasn't about the things you were getting. Read on.
God. And say not, I have enough for my life.
Okay, read on.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength.
Now this goes into being content in the spirit. Because to follow after your own mind, your own spirit, means I'm following after what my mind says, or my pace that I set for myself is. I think I'm okay at this particular level. I'm okay at this particular level of studyship. I'm okay at this particular level of leadership. I don't need to push anymore. I'm doing enough. Either I've done enough, or I'm doing enough.
I've gave enough.
Or I've gave enough.
I know.
I've sacrificed enough.
I lost
I've
enough.
lost enough for the reward. I hope I make it to the kingdom now. These are the thoughts that we'll tell ourselves. What the Most High says, when you start putting that stopgate on your works, when you start telling yourself, I can go after my own strength, my own motivations. Read on.
To walk in the ways of thy heart.
Read on.
And say not, who shall control me for my work?
Who can limit what I do in my day-to-day life? Who can measure what I do in my day-to-day life? Who can control me for what I do in my day-to-day life? I am the author and the director of my own life. I dictate what I do in my life. I dictate how far I go in my life. I have the power to go up to the mountain or be okay at this valley. That's up to me. It says, if you have this mindset, especially when it comes to your growth, I'm okay at this level of spiritual growth. I've done
enough.
I've done enough. Who can control me for more?
That's haughtiness.
Why are you asking me
For more.
We think
I've
pride
done
is-
enough. I don't want to sit back here and work hard and learn more and add more time. You know, Israel hates. We sit back here and brothers have certain abilities, and the camp and the body keeps asking for more.
Stop asking me for more.
Stop asking for more. Stop pushing me for more. I've already done enough.
Yeah.
This is where Israel's mind is. I've already done enough. Why do I got to keep giving?
That's the kicker.
But
Yeah.
as soon as you say, I've done enough, is when you're about to descend. You're on your way down.
You know what? Because the wise man should fear he's not doing enough.
Hell, Ecclesiastes 43 says you can never go far
You can
enough.
never go far enough.
So why are you saying I've done enough?
That's supposed to be constantly in the back of your head, like you're not doing enough. And you should feel bad and ashamed that you're not doing enough. That which should motivate you to want to do more and add more talents. It still goes back to having a healthy fear. That the Most High is not satisfied with what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Again, the little that you are bringing to the table. What did Paul say in Romans 12:1? This is your reasonable service. You're supposed to do this. I mean, this is the minimum. That's the bare minimum. You're sacrificing working 16-hour days. It's the minimum for your level of sin. Didn't Christ say by?
Remember Paul said for all the negative he did, the least I can do is go through the suffering.
And that's what I'm about to say. Because Christ said by your suffering, by Paul's suffering, he'll show his work through him. The amount of Paul's suffering, or the amount of suffering that Paul had to go through, that was how he was going to gain his grace from the Most High. It's the same thing with us. The amount of suffering, the amount of loss you're going to go through for this work justifies your grace and your mercy. But when you stop putting yourself out there for more, when you stop adding more talents or responsibilities in your plate, you're telling the Most High, I've done enough to make the kingdom. That's the haughtiness. I'm telling the Most High, I've already repaid my debt to you. I've repaid your sacrifice for me, your death for me. I've already repaid everything. That is the pride. That is the haughtiness that he's going to do what? Read on.
For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride.
Yeah, he's going to surely revenge your
The
pride.
haughtiness.
Your haughtiness.
Oh,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. It's the haughtiness.
We think it's about just arguing with elders and walking away during councils.
Yes, pride and haughtiness is you
Not that.
telling yourself you've done enough.
That's the
And
real.
you start coasting.
That's the real devil lie.
That's
The
the
brother
devil.
that takes the shit off and throws it and says, I'm not going to work anymore. Wow. That brother's not necessarily the devil lie. He just being honest about what's in his heart. It's the brother that smiles.
I've
and
done
says,
enough.
Shalom, how about you? But I'm going to give you 50% today. Out.
Yep.
That guy's
Brother.
the real devil because it's
Yep.
subtle. Because it's subtle.
Yeah.
Brother.
I'm not really telling you where my heart's really at. I'm giving you a duality. I'm giving you duality. I'm here physically, but my spirit's not really here. That's duality.
Brother.
Hot or
Listen,
cold,
it's right there,
not
bro.
lukewarm. Great point.
Listen, this is really where Israel truly struggles at. And I'm going to say this. When we're about to go into it, it's not Israel. And it's not just Israel. It's the nature of
It's the world.
mankind.
It's life.
The nature of mankind, we work to a certain level, and then we get comfortable and we coast. And when we start getting comfortable and we coast, it is the death of us. It is the destruction of us. When we sit back and tell ourselves we've done enough, it literally marks the end of our spiritual life in general. We're going to prove it. Let's go to Josephus again.
Catch one point.
Yes.
And this is why
Book 2. Paragraph 9.
social
chapter
media,
1.
especially
291.
Facebook, has such a bad effect on people when they look at it. They're looking at everybody chill and vacate and relax and ease up and enjoy their cake and eat the icing and live life. Watching people do that creates this yearning effect. Why can I too not participate in that same situation?
You got 2 numbers, 2 numbers. Anyway. Okay. I know. Anyway, we'll talk about Josephus, book 2, chapter 9, paragraph 1. It goes into the same concept. This is not just us putting verses together to kind of mess with people's head. We're going to message your head today and pull these verses. It's not it, bro. We're really trying to go into these scriptures and help show people. As soon as you tell yourself you've done enough, is when you're about to fall off the map. Israel sits back here and tells himself this all the time. I have put this amount of work in. I've studied this much. I've been in the camp for this long. I've done enough. You haven't done enough. That is called pride. That is a haughty spirit. This is why Amos 6 said, woe to those that are at ease. Woe to those who have told themselves, I've done enough. Because that's what getting at ease is. Wow, I've done enough.
That's wild.
Destruction will come to you when you tell yourself you've done enough. Read that. Somebody.
That's crazy.
Antiquity of the Jews, book 2, chapter 9.
This is me telling myself I've done enough. It's me putting my foot off the gas at the mall. Me sitting back here not studying at the zone or at home. Me not sitting back here and taking my work serious in the deliveries or in the moves. It's me taking a break everywhere. Me sitting back here sleeping on the truck. It's all of it. All the little breaks we try to sneak in to get comfortable. Read that.
Now it happened that the Egyptians grew delicate and lazy.
He's telling you this is at the tail end of the Egyptian Empire.
Not the Hebrew Empire.
It's going to tell you. It's going to tell you the contrasting scenarios. The Egyptians were the world power in that territory for hundreds of years. At least 400, probably more. The Egyptians were the top dog, not just in Egypt, but the land of Canaan. They were the upper echelon kingdom, and when they got to the top, they got delicate and lazy. But how, what's the definition of them being delicate?
I got you.
No. I just want to show the action in the words. We're good. Is it really hitting? Okay, let's do delicate.
Delicate, no Webster's 1828, definition number 10. It says tender, effeminate, not able to endure hardship.
And that's the thing. Listen, when the kingdom is about to fall, when men or women are about to fall, they lose the capacity to endure hard, difficult situations. Because the hard, difficult situations is what keeps feeding you. People want to know, how do you stay strong? How do you stay potent? Continue to submit yourself to the difficult circumstances that the Father has you going through. That's how you stay strong. If you want to get weak, look for the break. I mean, people told me, I got to lead the truth to clear my head. What are you talking about? I'm gonna stop doing work and leave and figure things out. All you gonna do is sit back and throwing rocks by the water and shit. You ain't doing nothing. Playing a ukulele act and sitting back here singing sad songs and meditating about things that. That's what's gonna happen.
I shouldn't be doing this. Dust in the wind.
Listen, playing the Ghost in the Wind song. That's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna sit back here and when you remove yourself from the hardness, you get weaker and weaker and weaker.
It doesn't stop.
And then you try to come back, it's going to be like an avalanche. It's too hard to overcome again.
This is too much.
Everybody wants to know, how do you stay strong? Accept the hardness. Accept the hard life. Accept the laborious work. Stop looking for breaks. Accept the frugality of life. That was a monster act. The husbandry act. Accept that you're going to be in a frugal situation. If you accept it, you can stay potent. You can stay plugged in to the source of the power you need to keep functioning. Yes,
I was just going to add, it's really the same thing in the physical. It's the same dynamic. When you're working out, you remain strong. You're strong, but when you stop working out, you actually
get weaker. It's the truth. But you know what the problem is? People hate the fact that I'm tired. I got to go get up early and go to the gym to get it in. And I'm tired. There's a tiredness that comes from working out. But there's a tiredness and a weakness and a deterioration that comes when you don't work out. So which one do you want?
You're going to be hurting regardless.
You're going to be hurting regardless. So you might as well embrace the hardness and the difficulty that comes from the workout. But then brother, hell yeah, I agree with that. I see that. That's the spirit. I understand the workout, the gym. Israel, they understand gym wisdom. We don't understand. We understand gym wisdom. Yeah, I get it. No pain, no gain, brother. But they don't understand that that's the same thing in enduring spirit. But you got to be frugal. I don't agree with that. Being frugal. I can't spend my money how I want to.
That's your philosophy.
We don't accept it on the spiritual side. We don't. I had to stay plugged into the spirit by enduring the hardness and the discomfort. Listen, he's telling you, not just the Jews, the Egyptians, they grew effeminate because they were used to a comfortable society.
The Romans.
They had servants. They were making money. America. Listen, in America, you don't got to farm and bust your ass no more. I can do some .com stuff. I can sit back here and get online. I can go and do crypto and sit back here. I went to this office, this computer office, man. This is a bunch of my guys hanging out in the room, and they're on the computer. It's real cushy gigs. Real cushy software engineers, and I'm not knocking software guys. But that's the whole other world, to being out here grabbing construction tools and touching that smoke. And getting out here in agricultural land and sitting back here and working out in these farms. Listen, them Americans in the damn 40s and 50s was another level out. They were sitting back, and these dudes was rugged dudes.
Those were Americans.
They weren't sitting back, they weren't no chumps out. They weren't chumps out. They was about that life.
I went to the USS Lexington. They had to man those guns.
Oh yeah.
They had to move them. Now it's just buttons, remotes.
Yeah.
This is buttons. Remote controller, video games.
Listen, this is why everybody's afraid of. This is why most war is going just nuclear. It's about nukes. It's about missiles. It's about air defense. It's because they know.
And drones.
Listen, it's drone. Everything is outside warfare. That hand-to-hand shit. If you sat back, if you think if there was a major draft, how these millennials, can't even say it right,
Millennials
will be able to handle this? We're gonna train you in a month, and you think a month's gonna get you ready for this? For warfare?
I am millennials. Most of it's gonna start in 18 to 24. That's Gen Z. They definitely.
Thank you. I didn't even. Okay. That's even.
But millennials like they're in 30s now. They're in 20s.
Okay, Gen Z, Salak. It's young folk. I'm just gonna say young folk. You get these 18-year-old dudes out.
They dancing.
All these guys, these tight jeans out. They gonna sit back here and be fighting out. Nah, these tight jeans, cats out.
We do a TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok is nuts.
They're gonna be doing that.
Listen, they're gonna have a real problem.
They're doing selfies out.
They're talking about the Israeli army. They can't do it. He said these guys are getting their ass kicked out here with these Hamas people.
They dance on TikTok.
They're dancing.
They dancing on TikTok.
You're the military, bro.
Hey, listen, and these Hamas dudes, they got shit to lose. They're going at you. Listen, they pulled a lot of their forces out of like the Hamas territories because it's just stalemates. The only thing that's actually working are the bombs.
Yeah.
The other stuff isn't working. Hand to hand, these guys are fighting for their lives and their children and their brothers and sisters. And you want to dance and smile? You're gonna die, bro.
That's real.
This is why war is quickly escalating to just bombs. And you better have some missile defense, and you better have some bombs, and you better have different type of bombs with drone mixed combinations. That's what this world is going to, which will eventually get to nuclear bombs quicker. Because nobody got the dogs besides Russia to go to war. Listen, UN's best hope was these Ukrainians, and they're wiped out. There ain't no more dogs on the NATO side. Britain don't have no fighters. They're talking about having to do conscriptions. Nobody has enough, nor the caliber of men needed to go deal with this problem.
Because they push a lot of agendas. A lot of soft agendas.
Yeah, thank you for not saying the name of those agendas.
I'm not saying that thing.
The letter agendas.
Yeah, they push a lot of alphabetic agendas out. And those alphabetic agendas affected the caliber of men.
But here we are. We're just, once again, we're going all this direction to remind about how a society begins to fall. When they get comfortable and they get tired of being uncomfortable. When they get tired of fighting themselves. When they get tired of being under laborious, difficult, uncomfortable conditions, is when you lose your edge. And it's when you're about to fall. And that's why we always tell people, you can never get comfortable in your position. You can never be above taking a step back and doing grunt work. That might not be your job at the moment, but you can't lose the ability to go back if you got to.
And that's the mantra for the generals.
We
push the captains. They should get that. But especially if you're a general, listen, bro. Listen, you can be 99 years old, right? You all gonna have to sit here. Charles White helps in the big time.
Yep.
You go into the 2 hours of war, but this is the idea of retirement and relaxing out. Let's throw that idea away.
Look at David. David kept fighting until his captain said, "No, dog, you're not doing it no more, bro. No, we're retiring you." But listen, how many men work until the captain tells them to stop? No, I think it's time to retire. That's how we want to do it. I think it's time to put my foot off the gas. That's our thinking.
They do it 15 years before they're supposed to do it.
Listen, back in the day, brothers were talking about retirement at 40. I'm not lying. Back in the olden days, brothers were like, man, I'm burnt out at 40. And that's why the Most High removed them. I'm talking about years ago. Men have told themselves 40 is the cap. I'm done. That's ridiculous.
40 equals 60.
But Esau and his greed, they never have them. What's your number? When are you going to retire and stop? More. I'm like, damn, I don't even saw that Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. And they said, like, interviewed that dude, Josh Brolin, who was the top dog. And they said, man, what's your number? I said, what do you mean? What's your number that your goal is where you're going to stop doing this? He said, more. There ain't no, there's no number. But I respected this dude. If I'm going to be in the world, I'm going to take this bread until I'm dead. I'm going to get this bread till I'm dead. Why can't we sit back here and say, I'm going to be spiritual and live this life until I can't do it no more? I'm going to push it, I can't push no more. That's not wisdom. Now the prudent man comes out.
That's not wisdom.
That's not smart. That's not the spirit. Oh, okay, here we go. It's not the spirit. But that's how it's got to be. If I'm doing my job, I'm going to push to the max. If I got an hour to go, I'm going to go push for an hour. I'm always going to get more work done. We have to learn how to stop being betas in the spirit.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
It's the truth.
I just want to just do enough just to get by. I tried. No, we got to sit back and push past our perceived limitations if we want the Most High to keep honoring us. Now let's go back to the Josephus.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 2, Chapter 9, Paragraph 1. Now it happened that the Egyptians grew delicate and lazy as to painstaking.
What it's telling you is at one time the Egyptians were not delicate and lazy to painstaking.
So they had a 1950s age too. They had a World War II.
Every kingdom had that age. When Egypt was rocking and rolling, everybody was working hard. Everybody was dedicated. Everybody was pushing themselves to be the best version of themselves in Egypt.
Everybody was sold out.
And as their kingdom fell, the majority of the people got comfortable and said, I did enough. Just like Israelites do all the damn time. I've done enough. I put enough work in. I can take it slow now. What you going to say?
I'm going to say it's like the opposite of delicate. This is in Noah 8:28. The opposite is sound and robust.
So once again, we got delicate because we stopped wanting to push ourselves and challenge ourselves.
China is too. The new generation, the youth of China, they're less intense and sold on this rice and water and suffer lifestyle.
No, that's real.
Listen, the old China, they will all suffer for the good of China.
Yeah.
That's the old mindset. That's the right mindset.
Yeah.
We will all suffer because we are one.
Yep.
Now they want
They
want to be consumers. They want to consume like Americans.
Yeah, I remember I was studying this. They talked about how in the 90s, that's when things started going downhill for China. Because it started when they wanted meats like America. They want to start eating a lot of meat. Back then, China didn't eat a whole lot of meats. That wasn't their diet. That wasn't their regulatory diet. But in the 90s, they wanted a lot of cow meat. They wanted to start eating a lot of cow meat. And now was the decline or the increase in delicateness because they chase after their delicacies. But I just want to add on to that one point. I remember reading about that in just their social history.
And now they're at the concept of let it ride. it said that, well, the hell with it. Because China's trying to push and promote to go back to the farming lifestyle.
Oh, I don't want that, bro.
And they're like these kids are like, listen, if I got to go to school and I can't get what I really want, then just let it rock.
You know, they're paying
but
foreigners to go
but
over
an
to
aspect of that meat push was remember that Tiananmen Square incident? And for older people, that like in the late '80s, there was this quote unquote scenario where the students were protesting and they had these the tanks were going to run over this person and there was this big hullabaloo. What they don't tell you is that was when George Soros and the NGOs start coming into China, and they started sitting back here and trying to destroy countries from the inside out with these NGOs and these different protesters and these different people that were pushing different movements to break countries from the inside. And China tried to, from that point on, George Soros was no longer allowed to come into China. They kicked him out. But that movement started having grassroots in China. Yeah. And they could never really break that movement out. So now that decay has been slowly eroding from the late 80s. And that's what you're saying. If they're talking about they're pushing for meats and comfortables, those NGOs have been working hard to try to come and infiltrate China and all these other countries since, I'm trying to think of another NGO that they tried to set up. I don't want to go into it, change too much. I'm just going to stick on China. But since the late 80s, they've been trying to infiltrate China and break down the unity of that one China mindset. And they've been slowly breaking it down. It's just taken a long time. It's taken 20, 30 years to get, I would say 40, to damn near get China to start eroding slightly. It took a lot of work to get to that point, though.
Because they had strong unity, they had strong belief in their direction.
Yeah, that's why you have the Chinese getting afros now. You see these barbershop videos, and they have Chinese barbershops where they got particular moisturizers, and they'll fluff their hair out, and they'll get they'll afro fades.
I have seen some of that where they actually put they make Chinese hair black hair. Yeah. How'd you do that?
They make it.
I gotta respect that. How did you make Chinese hair black hair? Right? And his hair was tighter. His haircut was tighter than Brother's haircuts. How did you do that? Huh?
They're permanent. Yeah.
No, they make it curly, like it's black hair. Right?
I see that. Yeah. They got dreadlocks that look.
So they reverse perm? How do you reverse perm people's hair? Right?
It's the little sticks. These are
Anyway, let's please. It's
a lot of work. I've seen the video.
Chinese perms.
It's very interesting.
That's very entertaining.
It is very interesting.
No, listen. It started with NGO. Let's just stay with NGO. You gonna blame it on the king of pop? Hey, man. It's the king of pop. His hair was like Chinese folks by the time he was making money. Anyway, let's stop.
Hey, Drake said he's Japan. That makes sense, huh?
To fall this collapse.
Let's stay. We're teaching Bible verses, y'all.
Listen.
That's the purpose of this right now. Let's teach the Bible.
But the one China mindset, it was a one Israel mindset. When you do a nationality and everybody's in the all-in mentality, that's when the nation wins. It was America. Trump's bringing the America first mindset. All it was the way it always been. Mm-hmm. America was always about the real Americans, the ones that are, the people, the population. But now everybody's divided, everybody's selfish. And the same thing happens to camps and men. It's not just the Hebrew or Israelite side. This is a world issue.
If you even look at the cultures in Arab cultures, they're pushing heavy anti-hijab movements. The women taking her jobs out, they're actually, now that might seem small to us.
That's major.
But to them, to us that's small. But to them, that's like you're breaking the whole religion, bro. You're not even Muslim no more. You get stoned to death for that.
Yeah.
But they're pushing that heavily, and they're using Western media, Western society to keep enforcing and backing this. But NGOs, exactly. And everybody's backing this movement. But you know when it started? It started with that little girl. I remember we learned about it in middle school. Little girl that was no, not Anne Frank. The Arab girl that was threatened by ISIS. Yeah. If she kept reading, she would kill something like that. She was a pawn. I remember her name.
Right. That was the whole Arab Springtime.
Yeah.
Where they were sitting back here and destroying all of those countries inside from within with these policies that were financed by a handful of people, and that the leadership of the country didn't know how to control
propaganda.
The propaganda. And what would happen is they would have a few quote unquote fire starters that would initiate these issues, and then all of a sudden the police would act a certain way, and then they'd have it on film.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden people will get enraged because these videos will go viral about how jacked up the police are and the politics are messed up, and then they will use that momentum to just fuel regime change.
The George Floyd effect.
Yeah. Okay. I've been doing this over and over again.
But it's been happening since I keep thinking about these Filipinos, the people that were in power, Ferdinand Marcos. I don't know if you remember that. That was in the mid-late 80s also. That was when they started really tapping into NGOs because Esau had to stop using CIA operations because the CIA operations that were working in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they started getting a bad name and bad press because word kept getting around that even with it stopped in the Iran-Contra scandal. That Iran-Contra scandal was when the CIA started getting in trouble because they couldn't avoid the fact that there was proof and evidence that the CIA had their hands in financing these coups in these countries. So they had to stop the process of having the CIA directly meddling into these countries, and they had to have NGOs, which were non-governmental agencies, which they were still a connection and financed by the U.S. government and the CIA, but you couldn't trace it back to the CIA. Yeah. So they started using NGOs instead of the CIA operatives. They were using in Guatemala, Central and South America, and Chile, and all those countries to overthrow countries and governments. And that whole situation with Ali North and those folks, they had to just change their approach. So they started using NGOs, and they broke down Ferdinand Marcos in the Philippines, and they tried to go with China with Tiananmen Square, and they broke Russia. That same process with these NGOs. That's a way to disconnect themselves from the CIA. Anyway, let's get back on topic. But we were talking about all that because we talked about how a country rises and they fall. When the people rise, it's because of their work ethic, their determination, their commitment, and their hard-working nature. When a nation falls, it's because they get comfortable, they get lax, and they get tired of fighting. You can look at this on a geopolitical level, and you can look at it on a personal level. When we get comfortable, when we tell ourselves we've done enough, we're on the way to falling. When the nation stops working hard and pushing, they're on the way to fall.
Okay.
Read it from the top, paragraph 1.
Come. Antiquity of the Jews, book 2, chapter 9, paragraph 1. Now it happened that the Egyptians grew delicate and lazy as to painstaking and gave themselves up to other pleasures.
Listen. When we want to sit back and make a decision to get comfortable and live your life and enjoy the fruits of your labor, that is the beginning of the end. This is why we read I think it was in Proverbs 22 that it was Proverbs 18. I'm just going to read it real quick. Proverbs 18 and 12.
This is before destruction. The heart of man is haughty.
Exactly. Before destruction, the heart of man tells themselves, I've done enough. I've pushed enough. Now it's time to take a break and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
You want verse 11?
Is it worth it?
Might be. You can make it work.
No. It's okay. So it's letting us know that when we tell ourselves we've done enough, we're on the way out. You sit back and read here with the Egyptians, when they told themselves, it's not about pushing myself anymore. Let's take it easy and enjoy our wealth. That was the beginning of their fall. Read on.
And also, on if it's spiritual level, political level, also business level. Everybody remembers going to Sears. You walk into Sears, it never changed. It was the exact same way for a decade plus.
Yep.
Same music, same pictures, same energy. It was a stagnation to it. And then all of a sudden look up, where's the Sears at? They all mass, disappeared.
Yep.
It's not just a Bible concept. It's a life concept.
Done. And that's the truth. And this is why we're trying to go geopolitical now to explain it's not just a war and we're just saying we got to work. The decline of a nation is when they get comfortable. And they tell themselves they've done enough. That marks the decline of a literal nation. And it marks the decline of the individual person. When they told themselves they've studied enough, they've dedicated enough, They've worked hard enough. They've washed too many dishes.
Yep.
They've cleaned. They've wiped too many babies' butts.
Oh.
I've sat back and served my husband for this many years. I'm done. I'm tired. When you start telling yourself that, you're on your way out.
I did that in high school. I said, I'm done with all this math. I got enough math. I told myself the truth. This is after algebra
You're
1.
done with math.
Yeah, after algebra 1, I said, algebra 2.
I have never heard of a student make the declaration that they're done with math.
That's why.
And you're still in school. You're still in school, and you say, I'm done with math. I had made a decision, and I would no longer do math.
Well, I thought we were going to get to a point where once you learn this, it's over. And I realized, they just keep adding subjects. They just keep. I didn't know there's anything past algebra. Like, is that past algebra?
Yes.
I thought it was done.
Statistics.
Like,
Freak out.
Like, I got mad. I said, "You want more? I just picked up algebra. You want more than that? Algebra 2? Was the algebra 3? There's a calculus in this. Like, I said, you know what? I'm done now. I'm tuned out.
But they were still requiring you to do the math, though.
Yeah. But listen, they want more. They want more.
But the homework was still required, even though you said you were done with it.
I said I was done. Homework was done. I'm getting 30s and 20s, and I don't care. I'm done. Listen, bro, they kept asking for more. Like, I know it sounds ignorant. Now. It is ignorant. It doesn't sound ignorant. It's very ignorant. I did good in everything else but math. I made my mind up. I'm not giving them anything because I don't have enough time with my homies. We need to have some fun. I'm gonna sit here, die, and get in a car accident. All I did was math. I'm done.
Yes.
This is how I thought. And you know what? I miserably failed after that. And I forgot algebra after that. And then I had to repeat algebra like 3 times after that. Because life kept forcing me, Most High kept forcing me to do algebra after that. So I'm going to skip this and go to college. I'm going to go to college.
But you got to go back and do algebra.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to test you to see what level of math you are. You got to go back to this.
The test happened and they said, where you at? I took the test. They said, well, you need to go back to algebra. I said, what?
No!
All this to do algebra? But the whole
oh
is,
my God!
The Most High resets you and puts you back
so
where you quit at. When you quit being spiritual and quit investing and doing more,
and that's
you're stuck.
And you're stuck. You're either going to fall, or you got to start back where you left and go and keep progressing up again.
Is that the downfall of most, if not all, empires?
Yes, that's where we're going here.
One way or another.
Empires stopped working. Listen, what's killed America? They've outsourced all their work.
Yep.
They've outsourced all of their major work. There's no more factories. Yep. There's nothing that keeps Israel humble and the world or the country strong and independent and hardworking. Listen, what people can't understand is how in the hell Russia can keep producing the ratio of shells, just shells, artillery shells, is 10-1. How can Russia outproduce the world 10-1 on Army military shells? Because they're not afraid of work. They're not afraid to work longer hours.
They never
take jobs. Listen, there's certain jobs in America our people just won't take. I would rather sit back here and finagle through life than work a job. Listen, not in Russia. They're going to work. They're going to dedicate their time. They're going to get decent wages. Food is at a decent price, and the economy functions.
Do they outsource a lot of
no.
work? Right.
Everything stays in-house. That's how you keep your power. We lost our power because we outsource everything. To China, to all these countries, to Mexico, to all the Philippines, all these other countries. That's how we operate. And then most of our economy is service economy.
Yep.
We're a service economy. You're not going to sustain long term that way. So now, not just America, but all of Europe is a service economy.
Yeah.
So now it's time for war, and they don't have enough military output. They can't produce bombs. They can't produce. They said last year that Russia don't have no more missiles. And when they said this outward, the next day they started bombing them. They bombed like 50 missiles out. The next day, we don't have no bombs. And that's what they did. Yeah, they said, listen, we got missiles on deck. We got bombs on deck. We got bullets on deck. We got weaponry on deck. We've already entrenched for the long run. How about you? Now they're saying we got to sit back here and open up factories to make bullets and weapons.
You mean go back to the old way where
now we got to go back to the old way.
That's what Israel does
It's
too.
too little. First of all, it's going to take a year or two to get these buildings even constructed.
You got to convince people to do it. That's the
point.
harder part.
And then once you get the buildings, now you got to hire people and you got to pay them at a rate that they're going to be happy to do.
So it's like Issachar in here.
Presidency changed
People that don't want to do it.
4 years, and who knows?
All I'm trying to show you is this is how you know the country is falling because nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go and take pains. Even in World War II, the women were sitting back here were outproducing Germany.
Yes.
The women in the factories was outproducing Germany.
Yeah.
The Germany, how the hell are they keeping up with just weapons and boots and artillery and MREs? How are they doing it when all the men are out here?
Yeah.
Because they were in a different spirit at that time. They were grinding. How was Egypt able to be a world empire and was able to control these crazy-ass Canaanites? Because don't forget, when Egypt was in power, they were also in control of Canaan. From the north of Canaan all the way down is what Egypt had. They had an entire empire, and they kept them damn Cushites in Ethiopia at bay too. And then they got comfortable, they got ease, and they started relying too much on their slaves and their servants, just like the Roman Empire did. All the same habits show you the decay of a nation is when you get too comfortable and you rely on your subjects instead of relying on your hard work and your grind and your fight. On a national level and on an independent person level. When you take it easy and you tell yourself you've done enough, you're done. When the nation says we can sit back here and rest on our laurels and our past works, they're done. Because the next competition is trying to take you over and usurp you. And we're going to read about who were the usurpers at this particular point with the Egyptian Empire. Read it from the top again.
Time. It says, now it happened that the Egyptians grew delicate and lazy as to painstaking and gave themselves up to other pleasures.
They didn't want to work and sacrifice anything painstaking. They got away from it, and they just relied on their servants to do it. Read on. The painstaking work is how you keep your mental and spiritual edge. We keep running from it. That's how you keep your spiritual edge, and it's through the hard work. Read on.
And in particular, to the love of gain, they also became very
This is the dynamic. You don't want to work hard anymore, but you still have a lot on your wish list.
Yep.
That's that dynamic. That's the dynamic. I want more things, but I stopped wanting to work for it. I want to be comfortable and still come up. This is how you know you're on the downside of your life. The decline of your life and your time on top. You want more, but you don't want to put the work in anymore. You don't even want to work at the level that you originally did just to get to where you're at in your life. You want more though. And you don't even want to maintenance what you got. You want to work less than what you did to get what you want and want more. That dynamic doesn't work. Now you start doing what? Now you start oppressing the people that you're your servants. You start oppressing your help.
Yeah.
This is what happens in kingdoms and in camps. I don't want to be an example. I don't want to dedicate as much as I used to, but I'm gonna put more pressure on the body to get the things I want while I'm producing less. That dynamic is how you fall too in all arenas in life. You know.
In particular, to the love of gain, they also became very ill affected towards the Hebrews, as touched with envy at their prosperity.
Now you're envious at another person that hasn't lost their work ethic. I'm mad that another person still works harder than me. He outworks me and he's producing, and I'm mad at him. I don't want to work no more. I want to coast. But I'm envious at the person that's outworking me and is coming up.
Wait, this is what Esau's mad about with Issachar today. Because they're mad that Issachar is working hard and they're still getting houses, but their children can't get houses because the housing market isn't working for them. Because their credit isn't working for them. But there's government programs helping Issachar come from Mexico and get them set up in houses. And we see on the west side, a lot of new houses getting built up, a lot of new construction getting built up. A lot of these houses are being occupied by new immigrants coming from Mexico. And Esau can't stand that. They go on TikTok rants all the time talking about how these people are taking our houses, they're taking our jobs, But that's not necessarily the case.
But your leaders gave up those jobs to them, and you don't want to work as hard as you used to.
You don't want to do what they're doing.
This goes both ways.
Exactly.
But let's continue.
For when they saw how the nation of the Israelites flourished and were become eminent already in plenty of wealth.
Now we're going to read about why did the Israelites become eminent in plenty of wealth at this time. Read on.
Which they had acquired by their virtue and natural love of labor.
We were on the come up because we love to work and put the work in.
As a nation.
As a nation. At this time, we still had the remnants and elements of Jacob and how he operated.
Yeah.
And Jacob was a hard-working man, and his sons were too. So those generations were still in the spirit of grinding, dedicating, and sacrificing, and they knew it wasn't their time to get comfortable. So the Most High kept them on the ascension, and the Egyptians, because they didn't want to put the work in, they kept diminishing. He's showing an issue about us, about the nature of growth itself. When you want to take it easy and you tell yourself you're doing enough, you're about to lose the position you got. The individual that keeps working and can maintain that motivation to drive and push, and that person that can keep telling himself or herself, I haven't done enough, the spirit will stay with you. The spirit will stay with you, and you'll stay in a position to grow and get blessed. It's all about what you've told yourself. Have you done enough, or is there still more for you to do? What have you convinced yourself your reality is? Determines how long you can stay strong and how long you can stay consistent. Does that make sense? Continue.
They thought their increase was to their own detriment and having in length of time.
And listen, the truth is they're right. The Jews' increase was going to be the Egyptians' detriment. But the real solution was what? Let me get off my butt and work harder. And outwork the servants, and we'll regain our position. But what did the Egyptians do? We're going to sit back and put them in slavery. And put them through bondage. And put more work on them so we can stay comfortable. That's the catch. But this is what we do when we slow down our efforts. When we're lazy in our own homes, who has to feel the pressure? Ribs? And the kids? When I want to get comfortable in my house, my wife and kids got to suffer more. If I want to be lazy in the camp, the men suffer more. Because you can't keep a standard up. Somebody got to pick up the slack. So if I don't want to fight and I don't want to change what's inside of me, somebody else got to pick it up. And it gets to where that pressure gets too unfair and you start losing people. That notion has everything to do with a camp, a school, a household, a family. If you can't stay on top of you and fight your battle, why should somebody else? Let's continue.
And having, in length of time, forgotten the benefits they had received from Joseph, particularly the crown being now come into another family, they became very abusive to the Israelites.
So after the king died, another Pharaoh and his family came in that didn't have a relation with the Jews, that looked at the Jews as a threat. But it wasn't just they were a threat because the Egyptians were too comfortable, they were lazy, and they weren't on top of their issues. That was all I want to pull out. I don't want to pull any more out of that. I just want to make sure we understand that's how you know you're about to fall. When that haughtiness seeps in. That haughty person that loves ease. That haughty person that's told himself or herself, I've done enough. That's why people are inconsistent also. We're not zealous. We lose our zealousness because we tell ourselves we've done enough for the day.
Boxers do
Listen, when you're tired, for instance, and we're going to that second, when you're tired and you worked a long day, what do you tell yourself? I'm tired. I've done so much today. I'm not going to study today.
Enough.
What do they end up doing? Bite you in the ass the next day, don't it?
Yeah.
You tell yourself, I've done enough for the day. I don't have enough in the tank to study. And what do you call it? When you sit back here and you got to like wind down for the day. Because you will get your decompress time in. If it's a movie, If it's you gonna go online, you gonna be with your lady, whatever it is, you're gonna find your comfort time. But you're gonna tell yourself, I worked so hard, I don't have time to give the Most High more and to clear my head up. There is hardness there on a daily basis that we always tell ourselves, I've done enough physical work, I don't need to study no more. I'm too tired. We do it all the time. Daily, and it ends up catching up to us with our spirit and our motivation. They were wondering in 2 weeks why I'm not motivated and inspired to do my job.
I understand.
How come I don't feel like fighting today? Because every day you've chosen not to fight. So it's harder to fight in 2 weeks. Now you really don't feel like fighting.
And you've looked for the lax opportunity. I've trained my mind. It's like you get a red car, all of a sudden every car is red. You get a certain T-shirt, you start seeing everybody with the same shirt. You look for opportunities for laxness and
you're gonna find it.
Laziness, then also those opportunities will present themselves.
Bro, do y'all understand what we're trying to say? And this is why the scripture says, a little folding of the hands, a little slumber or sleep, and the whole house falls apart. But it's the spiritual house. You tell yourself every day, I've done enough. I've worked hard, I'm tired. And guess what's going to happen tomorrow? You're going to tell yourself you're tired tomorrow. Then 3 days comes now, I didn't open the book for 3 days. Why? Well, maybe the first day you should have said, you know what? I haven't gone far enough. I haven't done enough. I got to get the Most High His. I got to still give His instead of getting this book and put the work in with the book.
And your sickness a lot of times is equivalent to your laxity in your efforts.
Well, that's my whole point. I want to go real quick because we're getting late on time. Go to 2 Timothy 2:15.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15.
It's all true, bro.
Read that.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High.
Now we're going into studying. And we have to study to show ourselves approved to the Father. But what I want to bring out is, do we look at studying as what this next line says?
It says, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed.
Study is work. Study is work.
Didn't know that.
You going to sit back here and put your work in the Most High at night?
I'm putting in work.
You still got to put your work in.
Wow. Okay.
He says the Jews grew effeminate because they got tired of working. We got hardy because we got tired of working. We get tired of studying.
Wow.
We don't like reading the Bible enough. We tell ourselves the physical work is enough. I don't got time to work at home. I don't feel like it. I've done enough work.
One
The
dimension.
Most High is like, no, you haven't done enough work. You still got to study. Why do you tell yourself this labor is cool, but this labor ain't cool? And then you wonder why everything in your life is falling apart. Because you don't study. Because you don't work in that arena.
Wow.
He's like, everything is work. Except that studying is work too, and put your work there. Like you'll sit back here and put your work at a zone or a mall or a job or the trucks. Whatever job you got a double job when you get off work to study. Read it from the top.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly.
Because what he's telling you, when you don't go to work, there is a shame that comes behind it.
That makes a lot of sense.
When you don't put your studying in, don't you feel weak? Don't you feel exposed? Don't you feel less confident in your thoughts and your thinking? It's like when you work out. You work out in the gym. We'll go back to the cardio tactics. Don't you feel confident?
Yep.
When you miss a week, don't your chest feel a little smaller? Yeah. You're like, oh man, I don't feel like I got it. I'm losing it. What's going? I gotta get back to get my confidence up. You gotta put that work to get your confidence in the carnal. Then why don't you put the study work in to maintain your spiritual confidence in your daily operations? So that workman isn't ashamed because they're confident based off the work they commit themselves to. Read on.
It says, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of
Because
truth.
you can sit back here and rightly divide your thoughts when you're studying properly, when you study efficiently enough. As negative thoughts come pop through your head, can you not corral them better than when you don't study? Can't you corral your thoughts and emotions with a lot more control if you put the work in with the studying? The answer is yes. But just like in all things, I know that if I study, I can have a clear mind, but I got to fight the fact that part of me just wants to relax and be comfortable. It's still that. You still want comfort. You want to relax. You want to take it easy at your detriment. Kingdoms fall, people fall because they choose comfort over the discipline and nourishment the Most High has provided for us. Last verse for the night. We're going to go to 1 Timothy 4, verse 12 and 13.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12.
Read that, or let them type it up real quick. Yeah, that's the one.
I looked at the meme you had, but I saw another one. School has it's really true.
Is this one? Is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy. But read that.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers, in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity, till I come.
Till Christ comes back. That means consistent work. Till Christ comes back. That means till you die. Read on.
Till I come, give attendance to reading.
Give attendance to reading until Christ comes back. There ain't no breaks.
Amazing.
Stop looking for the break. Stop looking for the breather. He said, till Christ comes, dedicate yourself to reading like you dedicate yourself to whatever comfort you embrace. Video games, clubbing, drinking, sleeping. Till Christ comes, put the work in and study. Just like you put the work in to put food on your family's table. Take studying as serious as you take your job. If you want to stay on top of your spirit and stay connected and nourished to the spirit, to your growth, to your potency. With that, we're going to let it go. We got more of the class, but we'll finish it up next week. All right? The water for tuning in. See y'all on Wednesday.
Shalom.